Untamed, unhinged, we ignite. Positivity shining bright. Reptiles, exalt, unite. Untamed, unhinged in the night. Big Flex and Chris spreading the vibe. Eric and the mad scientist, David by my side. Untamed, unhinged, talking reptiles all day. Positivity's our topic in every single way. Untamed, unhinged, we ignite. Positivity shining bright. Reptiles, exalt, unite. Untamed, unhinged in the night. Untamed, unhinged, we ignite. Positivity shining bright. Reptiles, exalt, unite. Untamed, unhinged in the night. Big Flex and Chris spreading the vibe. Eric and the mad scientist, David by my side. Untamed, unhinged, talking reptiles all day. Positivity's our topic in every single way. Zero talk with the community's voice, spreading love and knowledge, making noise by choice. Reptiles and exotics, we stand strong. Untamed, unhinged, singing our song. Untamed, unhinged, we ignite. Positivity shining bright. Reptiles, exotics, all unite. Untamed, unhinged in the night.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to Untamed and Unhinged Reptile Podcast. We got a special guest co-host, Jennifer. What is your reptile name? I'm sorry.
It's Jen's Peculiar Exotics.
There you go. And our guests today are from the Gecko Exchange Podcast. We got Jason and Anthony. So we're going to just bring them on now. We're going to go ahead and get this started. Oh, you know what? Before we do that, I'm actually going to shout out to sponsors real quick because I haven't done that. You know what? I don't even have that video here. Oh, okay. Well, our sponsors, we got Shed Outfitters. They have a code. It's Untamed. You type it in, you get 10% off. And then we got Irresistible Balls and Rattery. And we got KC Reptile Labs. We got the Hognose Hub. We got Strange Cargo Exotics. We got Ship Your Reptiles. You know, Untamed, you get $15 off shipping label. And then you got Cold Blooded Cafe. You type in Untamed 20, you get 20% off your order on feeders when it comes to like baby chicks, quails, eggs, rats. And then we got Arc Adventures, the Reptile Cruise, CMB Reptiles, and then you got Elevated Morse, and then Blue Tongue Republic and South Bay Reptiles. Shout out to all the sponsors. Love you guys. All right. Yeah, we got Eric. The Arc Adventures. We got John, Ramary, Royals. Where everyone at? Chris, Eric, what's up, fella? Nah, Eric's not here today. Special guest co-host. We got Jennifer. Jennifer's here today. She's gonna make it good though. All right, let's go ahead and bring out our guests. What is up? What is up, guy?
What it do?
What's up, guys?
So, how did y'all? My first question for you two is like, how'd y'all come together and meet, and what brought up the podcast?
Go ahead, Ant.
Well, truth be told, we met on the internet. We would follow a lot of the same pages and comment on a lot of the same stuff, and we'd question a lot of the same stuff. You know, someone would make a post about something, and you know, me and Jay might not exactly agree with or understand with what someone was posting, so we'd always question. And we just had a lot in common as far as opinions in the hobby and observations. And we really just, you know, we were like, well, why don't we start a podcast? You know, there's so many people doing incredible work in the hobby that aren't getting attention. They're doing a lot of the footwork out here, but yet only these select 5 people are on every podcast. Like, you got the same old frat boy style gecko keeper that's faces everywhere. And we're like, you know, not for nothing, but this cat over here with 5 geckos is doing more footwork, making more observations, helping more people, but yet he's not, you know, getting the time in the spotlight that these other guys are. Like, why don't we start linking up the people that are doing the real work, the real footwork, and the audience? Like, let's bridge that gap. Let's explore these other geckos that are out here. You know, everybody talks about this one species. There's close to 2,000, if not more, 2,000 species of geckos. Like, let's highlight the industry for real. Like, let's stop focus on what's popular, and let's bring attention to the species, to the animal, to the genre, to the genus. And we thought about it and planned it for like, damn, a year, if not a little over a year. And then one day Jay was like, yo, listen, let's, stop being around the bush, man. Let's just go. Let's just wing it. Neither of us had really any experience with podcasts or recording anything. And, we just did it and let it kind of evolve, and we really look for the people. I mean, we look for everybody. We're super big on everybody mattering, right? Like we feel that, the one little girl with one leopard gecko is as big of a contribution and as big of an asset to the community as, the big frat boy breeder with 5,000 geckos, right? Like that kid matters, that everybody that keeps a gecko matters. Your observations matter. Your opinions matter. You deserve to get help. You deserve to not be bashed or bullied or made fun of. You deserve equal attention as everybody else. And it's kind of just what we do. Bring the most valid, up-to-date information that we can find, I guess, and at least give people an opportunity to share their reasons, their thesis, their observations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm saying, like Ann said, I mean, a lot of the stuff that we talk about, there's no care guys for them, right? So it's like, we try to find those folks that been putting in that work for years, and helping everybody else, try to make that decision. Like I said, at the end of the day, we want folks to go ahead and try to make that educated decision. Is that something you want to work with, or are you going to pass on because you don't think you could take care of it? So that's what most of the podcast is mostly about right there. Like I said, Ann said, we bonded over a lot of stuff, man. Like actually our 1 year mark will be like, I believe March. But yeah, so yeah, our 1 year anniversary for the podcast will be in March. And we just keep going. We're expanding now. We're starting to get a little bit bigger, put a little bit more extra shows in. Like, and now he has the New Cow Corner. So now we're not like, we bash on crescent geckos or whatever. It's all for fun, right? But we know there is a industry out there that wants to focus on them, and that's what Anthony's doing. So he's still putting that good gecko content out with that, but it's not just crescent geckos. No, he just did one with Saracenorums. He did one for like mainland Chihuahuas because they don't get that crazy love like Pine Islands do. And it was a really good episode. Like what's his name? Rob
Hannison.
Right? Yeah, Rob Hansen. That dude is a damn genius when it comes to them. Like I was listening to that thing and like I was like, holy shit. Like a lot of stuff I just didn't know. And now I start using the stuff I learned from that podcast, and I'm applying it to my Chihuahuas, even though I don't have mainlands, I have PIs, but I still apply that stuff there. So we want people to have different perspectives and find ways to help them care for their animals. Whether it's like I said, not everybody has a care sheet. So you listen to these podcasts, and hopefully that helps them, take care of those animals better than what this big person said here that has like I said, 3,000 geckos. They're not looking at all 3,000 geckos. Like my aunt said, that one person has 5 geckos. They're doing a lot of detailed observation and figuring things out more than a person that probably has 3,000, 4,000, whatever how many ever geckos they got.
I was also going to say, y'all have the same mindset as me. I think y'all are trying to spread positivity through the gecko community and stuff like that.
Oh, definitely. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It seems like y'all are trying to bring people together as well. Like I came across y'all's channel. The only reason I came across y'all's channel is because I was looking for a gecko, like people to interview, and I saw the Gecko Exchange podcast, and I was like, check it out. And then I jumped in one of your lives and like, hey, I
think you on the last one. Yeah, man. Yeah, I appreciate that one.
Yeah, there's a lot of bullshit, a lot of fighting, and a lot of discrepancy. A lot of the arguments and fights are over care stuff, really, right? Like someone will say, oh, well, this worked for me and this worked for me, and well, that's wrong and this is wrong, and people get into full-blown fights as opposed to just understanding that everybody lives in their own little microclimate, right? Like what works for you isn't going to work for them. What's going to work for the person down the street might not necessarily work for you. Like So we're trying to just get, trying to give people options, right? Like, and if we could get all the information from all different styles of keeping and different types of people, we can see that, there's more than one way to skin a cat. It doesn't have to be a fight, right? You don't have to argue. You don't have to bash or belittle somebody. Like, just understand that they have the same goal as you. They just go about getting there a different way.
Yeah, for real though.
I'm sorry, guys.
Oh, go
Ben,
ahead.
if you have any questions, go ahead and ask.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, I just agree. There's no reason to bash anybody, and especially when it comes to care, and like Jason is saying, like there is no care guides that are just like out there, and you have to question, you know, everything. I mean, even if there are care guides, you have to question, like, is this right? Is this going to work for me? Because, we all live in different locations of, the US, and the different temperatures and climates outside your own house can affect how you care for your own animals inside. And, I don't think a lot of people really think about it like that, but it's definitely something that, and there is no like right or wrong way to do things, like especially in the tarantula hobby. Everybody has something to contribute, whether it's like care, behavior, because we're all learning. There's no care guides. There was no care guides for tarantula keeping. The only care guides we really had were the books that people wrote, or YouTube. And that's where I learned a lot of my care for my tarantulas, is through watching other YouTubers, and not just one, but multiple. Like I could name, Dark Den, Tarantula Cat, Tarantula Collective, people like that. I sit there and I watched for months before I even bought my first spider, to make sure I had a good sense of what I was doing.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah, and it's really important to just kind of just go out and get that information for ourselves, because we have the internet, we have our phones. It's really easy to look up something, and it's just as simple as that. But I think you really have to have the sense, like, these animals are more than just something that you put on your shelf, because people who think that way, they're not going to go into the deep care of, oh, this guy needs actually like a 4x2x2.
Absolutely.
Or
What we've experienced too is like a lot of certain species of geckos are more popular than others, right? Like, and a lot of people promote those geckos as being super easy, right? And they gain popularity because they're pitched as super easy. They don't need lights, they don't need bugs, they don't need a lot of stuff. Me and Jason have found that a lot of other species that don't get the recognition as certain species are just as easy, if not easier, to keep than a lot of your popular geckos. Like a lot of geckos don't necessarily, I promote UVB for anything alive, us, animals, everything. But, there's a lot that in theory, a new keeper could keep without certain things. You don't have to just go for a crested gecko. You don't have to just get a leopard gecko. Like there's other unique species that you don't have to be afraid to keep. Now, granted, we understand it's the lack of information that puts fear in some people. They're nervous to get things, certain species, because they may not have access to the information, and we acknowledge that and we respect that. But again, that's part of the reason why we do what we do. We like to bring these people on that work with super unique animals and let them share their experiences with people, so they have something to compare and contrast. I could name 15 other geckos that if I said the name to somebody would be scared shitless about keeping, but they wouldn't hesitate to get a crested gecko or a leopard gecko or maybe even a cave gecko, and I could, again, name these species and people would be like, oh man, I hear this and I hear that and I hear this. So again, we like to have those people on that can tell you how, easy it may actually be to keep a Europlatus ebanawi or, certain knobtails, Australian species. And Jason works a lot with Strophuris and a lot of super unique species that I know nothing about. But in all actuality, they're not as complicated as some people in the community or the reptile hobby in general make it seem to be. And it's sad because that fear ultimately keeps certain species from growing in popularity and in the hobby, and ultimately to science, right? Because a lot of these species aren't coming in the country anymore. If we let them go, they're gone. They're gone. So if we could bring the information to the table, maybe people won't be so scared, and have a resource that they can go to, and maybe start stepping outside of the box and keeping some things that are a little less popular or whatnot. I mean, we're all about information and learning and education. I mean, and that's the key to everything is learning. We should all always be learning, like you guys said, man. The second we stop learning and the second you think you're a professional, I promise you're going to get hit upside the head and realize how much you don't know. I'm going through myself right now. I had a species, could have swore I knew everything about him, had it all figured out. I'm thinking I'm comfortable, thinking about grabbing a couple more, starting a little breeding project. Man, was I wrong, man. It's I don't know a damn thing, man.
And that's just and like part of our, I don't know, at the end of the podcast, I always ask, like, what's been your biggest failures and what have you learned from it, right? And so this is something he's gonna learn from. Like, all right, now I need to do it this way instead of doing it the prior way. But yeah, as far as species, I work with a bunch of different shit. Like, people are like, what the fuck is that? Like, half the time, ants like, what the fuck is that? Yeah, because most of the time, like I said, I go by a lot of Latin names because half the time I don't even know the common names. But generally, like, what I do is, like, so half the reason why I did want to do the podcast because I wanted to learn about a lot of this shit that I wanted. So I ended up getting people on just so I can go ahead and learn and see if I can if I'm able to care for it. Like I said, I work with like a lot of pterodactylus species. Like Ant said, I work with Stropherus, so I got like Ciliaris, Intermetus. Just started hopping on like the Europlatus route, so now I got Sicerae, Ebanawi. Damn, I got cave geckos. Like, I think they should be pretty more popular than what they are. I mean, they're super simple, super easy to care for. Even Pictus geckos, Peridor picta. Those things are so like ridiculously easy, and they're personable, they're handleable, and so that's one of my goals is just to kind of show everybody else, like, look, you don't have to just go with the industry route of a cresty or a leopard gecko or like bearded dragon, all this stuff. There's other things out there that are just as easy, like Ann said, like Stropherus are super easy. Chuhu is like the mainlands. If you're in a budget, and I said you can't afford that PI, those mainlands are super affordable, and they're just as easy as any of the other New Caledonian geckos, but they're
damn
bigger.
Cool lizards, man. Damn cool geckos.
They're smart as hell, compared to like a lot of them, and like, so why not just go ahead get that instead of getting this cresty over here or getting this leopard gecko? That's like, we want to expand people's universes on this stuff.
I do understand why. Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, Tim. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh, I was gonna say I do understand why people love the crested geckos because if you guys look right behind me, I have two right behind me. They're both boys. I absolutely love them. They're my babies.
So what do you love about them? What do you love about them?
So they're very smart. They're much smarter than I ever could imagine. But with crested geckos, I've learned, and with like a lot of reptiles for sure, just in general, they do take a lot of time to get to know them and for them to come out of their shell and to, I don't know, per se, like interact with you. Like my crested geckos are always interacting with me. They look at me when I'm talking to them. They listen to me. They like flick their tongues as in acknowledging like I'm talking to them. And I'm just guessing that's body language of like that just because I've worked with horses, and same thing with them. They do like this licky chewy thing when they like understand the concept that you just taught them. So, but Like, and they do come in so many different colors. But the thing is like I have my crested geckos in 30-gallon enclosures, and that's usually not what people keep them in. But I feel like that's like the proper amount of space that they really truly need to just have a really good life, and for them to be able to hide away and have their space and be able to go and move about and do whatever. I found my crested geckos just, I mean, some people say like it'll cause them to like lose weight, but I'm sure with like certain geckos, it's different because they're all different. I mean, I guess you guys could agree with that. They're all different personality wise. They all do
Every single
different
one of them.
things. Yeah. And so, but I love my crested geckos. I do want to get into like day geckos and stuff, but I do think that for just like reptiles in general, I do think we should be enriching. Oh, what? There's your gecko.
What?
I just think we should be doing more for them, just like more enrichment per se. Because like, I don't agree with like the thousands of geckos. I mean, like, I don't know how you can personally keep track of all that unless you have like a staff, of course. But personally, with my collection of like less than 50 animals is still very time consuming. And there's still like a lot going on day to day that I'm always like in here. Like if I did not work from home, I wouldn't be able to keep an eye on them or sit here and make sure their climate is perfect. Like I have a hygrometer in here to make sure the temps are great. I have my tarantulas. They just all molt at the same time, which is a really good sign that you have good climate. So, there is a lot to it. But I do understand that like the scientific names for a lot of people can be intimidating, or if you're not like, you guys are talking geckos, and I'm a huge like spider tarantula person more than I am a gecko person. And I kind of just like, I'm wondering what these species are, but it's not also like, because you guys are saying like there's no common name, so that makes it even harder. So I mean, I just think that I think it would help to have common names. I had the same situations though with tarantulas, because I'm always saying the scientific name because I'm a nerd and I want to know, like, I want to be able to talk to like breeders and be like, this is what I want. Because when you're buying tarantulas, it's all scientific names. So, and so, yeah, I do feel you guys on that. And I think that is why, like, and it's the same thing with tarantulas, I'll tell you, because tarantulas, they live in 3 different kinds of environments depending on the species, where it's from, the environment. So like we have old worlds and new worlds in North America and old worlds in South America. And the new worlds have urticating hairs, the old worlds don't. The old worlds have medically significant venom, the new worlds don't. And you have fossorial tarantulas that live underground. You have terrestrial tarantulas that live above ground. Sometimes they live underground, or sometimes they live in a bush above ground. It really depends on the spider, because they all have different personalities, I believe. And then you have your arboreals that live in the trees, and those little guys are like poop cannons. Some of them, we have the avix. My little Caribbean versicolor poops on me all the time. It comes out, and then like I'll give it a cricket and then make it go back inside, and then it'll just like shoot poop at me. I'm just like, thank you. Like
Are
one
you
time it
breeding
hit
them?
me.
Do you
Huh?
breed them? Do you breed them? Do you produce them?
I'm starting to.
Yeah. So are you
I'm starting
experiencing
to.
anything with like the females? And I don't breed them. I've had one time, and that's a whole story we're not going to get into. But do the females eat the male when they're done breeding or something? I heard.
Yeah,
Like
they
what?
definitely can. It's not always, but they definitely can. And
Really?
it really depends on the species too. Some are man eaters, some are not. We have some of the avicularias that are like, yes, let's pair. And then we have like the tillicotyle vegans. They're just crazy, or just tillicotyle genus. Like, I know a keeper that has a man eater that every time she's tried to pair, literally is eating the male. And sometimes I think it's just because like it all depends on the setup, and they're definitely like, animals you have to prepare. I personally prepare mine. I have to say though, I'm very new to breeding, so I'm not a professional. I just paired. We believe they paired. Our fingers are actually crossed because we cohabited my male and my female for like 2 weeks straight. These are Poecilotheria regalis Indian ornamental tarantulas, and they're an
That's
old
old
world
world.
species. Yes,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
they're one of the most medically significant species you could possibly have.
Really?
And that's why there's a huge fear of them. Yes. So if I
Why
were to
is
get
that?
bit,
Just the poison, like they're toxic, they're super toxic, or
their venom is it's just more potent. You're gonna feel a sting. You're gonna get headaches. You're gonna sweat. It's gonna be super painful because they actually just like inject venom. So in comparison, so like if you were to get bit by a New World tarantula, you you wouldn't feel effects for very long. You would only feel it for like, a few hours to a couple days. You get bit by a old world tarantula, you're gonna be feeling that shit for a week. Pardon my French, but you're gonna be
Damn.
feeling it, and it's gonna draw blood too. But these tarantulas are not out to bite you. It's the dumb people, and I'm gonna say they're being dumb, poking their fingers in the tarantula's enclosure when it's literally sitting there
Fuck that.
stomping at them, stridulating its fangs, hissing. It's saying, "Back off, leave me alone." And I've seen a video of this guy with his OBT, and I don't know if he just did it for the video, but he did that, kept poking at his OBT, and it eventually came flying out, bit him so hard, he was screaming, blood drawn and everything. I was like,
Oh, shit. You got what he deserved then. Shit.
is there
yeah,
any regulations or restrictions on the sales of these things because they're venom, or are they like not even regulated?
yes. So there are certain species like the Poecilotheria vittata, and I believe it's that species, but they cannot be sold over state lines because of their venom.
Okay.
I don't understand why it's only with like that, because like I can buy. I bought my Poecilotheria regalis tarantulas from like two different breeders, one from Massachusetts and one from the East Coast, and but it all just depends on the species, or like there's this. So let me talk about this. There's like this super debatable topic in the tarantula community, and it's handling. And it's because like, there's so much stuff that can go wrong when you're handling tarantulas, especially with your heavy body terrestrials that, their abdomens are so big that a short fall, it's going to kill them immediately.
Really?
Their abdomen will explode, it'll erupt, and there's nothing you can do. Like I've seen people that it's happened, and their tarantula was on a shelf, and they went to feed it, had a crazy feeding response, jumped off the shelf, and they tried to glue it back together. It died. I mean, so that said, there's also the chances of getting bit, because you don't know if at any moment, at any time, you could get bit by one of these tarantulas, especially when you're handling them. And it's not because they're aggressive, because they're out to get us, but there are protocols that we do use to make sure that doesn't happen. Like you can test the temperament of the tarantula with a paintbrush or a stick or whatever you got. And number one, usually they'll give a feeding response because their eyesight is really bad, to be honest. I don't know if you guys knew that, but tarantulas' eyesight, despite having 8 eyes, they have really horrible eyesight, and they can only really see shadows. So they bite first and ask questions later. So that's why you don't just stick your hands in there, and be like, "Hey, Junior, I'm gonna pet you today." They're not a dog, and so. So yeah, it's testing with the paintbrush, and then also, if they just run away, or if they do give that feeding response, I highly don't recommend giving or picking them up, especially if they do it 2 or 3 times consecutively. That just means they're hungry, and you should probably feed them. And then there's just like the ones that they just run away. They're not gonna turn around, throw you a threat pose or anything. Those are the ones you want to pick up or could pick up. But there's also like specific species for that. Like we use the Phonopelma calcotes, and I have one. Her name's Cat, and she is the only one that I handle. Besides a few of my slings whenever they come walking out, because they're just babies and I'm not very scared of them anymore. But she's very handleable, but it's hard to sit here and say, okay, you guys can get this tarantula and I promise you she's not gonna, or they are not going to bite you. I can't promise that because each and every tarantula individually is different despite being the same species. So, you know, I could have gotten an Aphonopelma calcotes that would turn around and, you know, threat pose me instead of one that's super docile. So it really all just depends on the tarantula as well. But a lot of us do try to show the handling, you know, like us people doing like the YouTube for the educational reasons, not for the entertainment reasons, but like we try to show people that by handling, like that these spiders are not like what you see in the movies. What you see in the movies are these spiders that are out to get people, to bite you, suck your blood, whatever, some crazy crap. Or like I just watched Spider-Man the other day, and that spider just came down and just bit him on the hand. That's not realistic. You know, we're not a food source for them, and the only reason why they would bite or slap at you, flick hairs at you, is if they really thought that they were in danger. It's a defense mechanism.
Do you find that they are, I don't want to say trainable, but say you had a baby that was like super obnoxious. Say it was like an aggressive baby. Can you desensitize them, you know, over time and make them handleable once they're it? Like if you have just an aggressive baby, it's just an aggressive spider, yeah?
So so I don't know if you guys know this, but tarantulas molt. Do you guys know that? Okay. So with that said, every time they molt, their personality changes or could change. Yes. So I have this tarantula that's very handleable. If she were to molt, there could be a possibility that she could turn into a complete meanie, like, and just like not tolerate me to handle her at all. For example, I have this Harpytera pulchripes. It's a golden leg blue baboon. It's an old world species, and they are generally nice. Okay. This one, she's not. She's absolutely insane. I've had my friend that has kept tarantulas for years and has like a very large collection come over and see her for herself, and all she could say was, wow, that is a brave tarantula. She's very confrontational. She's like, get out of my house, get out of my space, I don't want you here, I don't care if you're giving me food, water, I will. And I truly believe that if I were to stick my hand anywhere near her, she would bite me so hard, like that it would just draw blood. And so when I interact with her, I'm like, I put her on the opposite side of me. So I like open it and I just like keep my distance because she's just so reactive. And she just molted, but she's still the same. I was hoping that she would be nice, but no, it really depends on that spider and, you know, just like at that current time, because they could change in the molt, but they don't change generally unless they molt. So if you have one that's...
Are there like wild caught tarantulas in captivity? Do they import them?
We try our best not to.
Yeah.
I do think that like people, like the breeders, import certain amounts just for like breeding reasons, but the more that we breed in captivity, the more we stay away from that. And a lot of us, like actually like all of us besides the ones that have the intentions of just getting tarantulas to make money, we don't take from the wild. And it's actually like, I will shun you if you take those spiders from the wild, because here's the thing with tarantulas, they live, okay, so for females, they can live anywhere from 20 to 30 years depending on the species.
Damn.
Yeah, and super long time for a bug. And males can live, anywhere from, a couple years to 10 years, depending on the species, right? They
That's
just generally live, they live shorter just because their only purpose is to make more babies, and they're way more active than the females. And so in the wild, you would have to imagine there's so many other things out there that they have to worry about, just like getting killed by other predators. And it takes so long for like some of these species to mature into an adult, like your Phonoploma genus can take, oh my gosh, like 10 years to get like 10 years or more to get full size. And so if you're taking that tarantula away from its native habitat, you're taking away from the general population of those spiders in that area, and it affects everything. And I truly believe that. But there are people that do have the wild caught. Like my Phonoploma calcodea, she was wild caught. And I bought her from Micro Wilderness. But here's the thing. He breeds like thousands of tarantulas, and he takes these Phonoploma calcodes after he he gets egg sacs. He takes them back to the areas and releases the babies so that he can reestablish that general population. So it's really cool to work with him, and I believe in that, but I don't believe in taking specimens just for the fact that you're going to go vend them on a table. That's just ridiculous to me. It's rude.
Jay's girlfriend, Jay's fiance, wife. What is she? Jay's girl works with spiders also.
Oh, it's just
No way.
spiders. Yeah, just jumping spiders.
I have jumping spiders too. They're cool.
Yeah, like the one of them that she bought. I'm guessing it had to be a wild caught one because she's done laid like 3 egg sacs already. So yeah, like the first egg sac was like 91. I forgot how much was the second one, and then she just had this last egg sac. Just they started coming out now, so we're counting and seeing how many it is. But before she's even worried about that, she, like I said, we're talking about behind the scenes. Right now, her dog is having puppies, so that's why I'm outside.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah,
that's cool.
So, I think the dog went into labor probably around 12, and right now, the last count I heard was she had 7 puppies.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, right. And then the male, the male dog, he's over there going ape shit crazy, like let me see. And I was like, all right, I'm gonna go outside so I can not hear this barking. And
is he good with the pups though? Like, is the father good with the puppies?
I don't know. Like usually, once they get a little bit older, I think they let the dad go over there and kind of like sniff them and everything. But because that dude is so rough, it's ridiculous. Yeah. Like he wants to just smash on everything, run into the walls, and he's just goofy as shit. So generally, it's just no. You chill over there. These puppies be over here. You can't get to them. Leave them alone until they can really open their eyes and walk around and eat on their own and stuff like that.
Yeah, you gotta watch that mama dog too. Sometimes they're a little protective of those puppies.
Yeah, sometimes. Like half the time, she'll let me pick them up and be like, all right, whatever. It's like that's one that's not to worry about. Like I was like, I hope she don't have no more because she only got like 7 nips. So
oh my gosh,
it's like there's gonna be some fighting.
You're gonna be bottle feeding. You're gonna be dad over there bottle feeding the babies.
Well, I literally she told me, she's like, hey, one of these are really small. Can you go to Petco real quick and go get me a bottle? I was like, yeah, all right, cool. Went, already got the bottle, got formula just in case. But
that formula is expensive.
Yeah. But the little ones latched on, so we're hoping that it'll get enough food and start growing a little bit faster than the other ones. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Interesting. Yeah. When did they do? So how many?
What's that?
You got to take them to the vet, like eventually, or do you just?
Yeah. Eventually, go get them their first set of shots. But how many spiders do you have? I know it's usually a ridiculous amount. When I talk to spider people, they have a ridiculous amount. So
I actually have small potatoes compared to a lot of people. I have about 35 tarantulas.
Okay.
And then
that's actually not bad.
No. It's a lot of work with just the 35. Because I'm watering twice a week, and that takes hours, and feeding once a week as well. So it's a lot of
easy.
maintenance.
Oh my god, feeding once a week? Whew. Man.
Oh yeah. That's why I like my tarantulas.
4 times a week, actually.
Nope.
Yeah.
My snake only gets fed once a month too. That's the best. I love that.
Yeah.
Because those crickets are they're such a pain to take care of. Like they stink. I used to try to keep them. I actually had one live for like 3 months, and it from like a little tiny baby to like an old cricket. So I was just like, wow, that's crazy. But what? Oh, dude, listening to them chirp though is insane. I'm like, as soon as I start chirping, I come in here and I start picking the males out. I'm like, you gotta go. I'm like, who's hungry? Who's hungry?
Sometimes I just now I got them in every corner of this room, in every cage, just singing to each other.
Yeah, or like, and they get loose too. It's inevitable. I sometimes have them loose in my house, and I'm just like, where is that noise coming from? And it's like they're like under the fridge with like a little family of 3. I'm like, how long have you been here?
My wife gives me a look. My wife will give me a look, or I'll get a text message like, "There's a bug under a cup in the kitchen. Get rid of it."
It's in the bathtub. Okay, squish it. What?
Right? Yeah.
I don't want it no more. It's been around the toilet. I don't want to feed that to my spiders.
Hey, did you see that question, Jennifer? They asked if you had scorpions.
Yes, I have scorpions.
Really? What kind you have?
Yeah, I have 2. I have one mature male Asian forest.
Those are badass. Those are big ones, right? They get huge.
He's like this big. He's not super big, but he's big enough.
They get big though, right? Do they get big? You know the picture on the internet? There's some dude like holding a giant scorpion online. Like it almost looks.
You might be talking about those emperors, right?
Yeah. I think that's an emperor, but the Asian forest don't get nearly as big. I don't think.
Yeah,
I wanted an emperor.
Around a lot, guys. I'm sorry.
Good.
You're okay.
I'm moving around a lot because I'm trying to find.
If I didn't have my phone on this thing right now, I'd be walking all over because I have ADHD. I do too. Talk better.
That's why I can't stay still.
No, yeah.
Where do y'all see aren't you launching a new podcast yet? Did you want to talk about that too as well?
Yeah, it's like Jason had briefly mentioned, there's no denying, as much as we enjoy all these other species of geckos and we want to bring attention to them, there's no denying the need for more information about New Caledonian species. So we started we really turned our podcast into a network and grabbed up a couple of people that are doing a few projects that have yet to be released. But New Cal Corner is the first one released where we focus on just New Caledonia species, not just crested geckos, but all New Caledonia species. And we interview, some less known names, people working with them, some people doing some really incredible things. And again, the objective stays the same. We're trying to get less, I hate to say less popular because it sounds so belittling, but people that aren't known as well to the hobby that are doing extremely significant work with these species. And again, I feel like there's so many incredible people out there that are doing incredible things that just aren't getting the attention because unfortunately they're not in the right circle, so it's almost like, you're not friends with me and we're not friends with you, so your work is irrelevant. Well, that's not the case at all. Everybody's observations, everybody's collections. Again, I hate to sound like a broken record, but everybody matters, and I wanted to create a platform where everyone can come. If you feel like you have something significant to share to the community, to cement into the hands of time, and post your information or your observations or your findings on the internet, then I got a stage for you, man. There's a spotlight for you. Come teach us. Come tell us what you know. Tell us what you've observed, what you're working with, what observations you've had with all these different genes with crested geckos, Leachianus, Saracenorums, anything from New Caledonia, any species of geckos, rough snouts. I have a cool episode coming up with with a guy that really inspired me, from the beginning of this whole gecko thing, Carlos. He's from Limited Edition Geckos is his name, but he's going to come on and talk about some rough snout geckos. They're like super, super rare species. Not many people keep them, not many, let alone know about them, and he's a unique keeper. I'll say that about Carlos. He's super observant. He's always willing to help. I mean, he's like a textbook, this guy. And, he's going to come on and do a cool episode about the rough snouts, the lessers. We've had a couple people come on, like Jason said, with the Saracenorums. We've done a Leachianus episode. And yes, there's only limited species, and we're going to keep running through again just because people keep things differently. I mean, you can talk to breeders and keepers that will talk until they're blue in the face about the reasons why you shouldn't keep your geckos in bins. But then I have a whole group of people that will talk about the successes that they've had of keeping their animals in nothing but bins. And I'm not here to say who's right and who's wrong, but rather be the medium in which these people can present their information. And it seems to be, pretty popular so far. It's making some good, it's getting some good traction, Again, there's no denying how popular New Caledonia species are. And it's fun for me because my heart is in New Caledonia. I mean, there's no denying it. I keep 15, 16 different species of geckos. And my favorites are, without a doubt, New Caledonia species. I'm a sucker for chihuahuas, man. I love them. I think they're one of the greatest geckos on the planet, if not the greatest geckos. I keep just about all New Caledonia species except for some of the smaller ones and then the rough snouts, obviously. But yeah, it's a new project. Jason is also setting off on a little journey. We grabbed up a couple people that are going to be doing some spin-off podcasts. Jack Thomas from what's Jack's Jason to tell you more about that stuff. No? Not happening?
Sorry. Yeah.
No, that's
that is that's top secret right now.
Oh, okay. So
yeah.
We're not doing that. All right, so I might as well just not say anything about any of them. But yeah, we're always got something in the works, man. We're always working to become.
We got some things going on.
More of a resource than just a podcast. We want to be a resource, a database, a go-to spot for information for all animals and all species. But yeah, that's really it, man. I mean, come check it out. I'm always open for suggestions. If you guys have people you want to see or hear from or species you want to know more about, I just had Paul Morlock on talking gargoyles. Dude is a brilliant man. Just let me know. Drop me a comment, a DM. I'll get him on. I promise. I can guarantee you I'll bother him as much as possible to get him on the show.
Yeah, for real. I know how much you had to bother like Richie and all them, man.
Yeah, he's coming. I don't have a set date, but getting the Gecko King on. Richie, the man, the myth, the legend. He'll be coming on New Cow Corner. I think he wants to talk about Urodactylodes, but either or, I mean, you can't go wrong listening to Richie.
Yeah, right, yeah.
You want to talk about yours, what you're doing, or is that still top secret too?
No, that one, like, that's mine, so it's cool. We can talk about mine. That's fine. Like I said, I got some shit called it's gonna be called Putting in That Work. And it's just focusing on who has made like positive impacts in this reptile hobby. Because we always hear about all this negative stuff, like we were talking about before. I just wanted to highlight people that are making positive impacts. So like my first guest is going to be Justin Munsterman. Said he helped out not writing a book, but helped give information for the reptiles of Ecuador. And he's started breeding the species that no one even knows how to even knows what it is. But we're gonna go ahead and do that one. I'm looking at a few other people right now, but for me, that one's probably just gonna be like a once a month thing, maybe once every quarter. I don't even know yet. And what did Matt say? I didn't even see it.
What's a vegan reptile freaking snake shell?
Vegetarian
That's
snack
Matt. Yeah, Matt and his vegan snakes over there.
What? What kind of
My
snake?
snake is not joining
I
that.
got a big pet peeve about people like. It's not even a pet peeve, right? These animals we keep, these are at one point, despite how long they've been in captivity, they're wild animals, right? So to sit around and preach that these things don't need to eat live prey or think that just live prey is just food and not mental stimulation drives me nuts. And he knows that, so he's just trying to piss me off. But it's like, I like people freak out if you feed a snake something live. Now I understand, there's reasons why you wouldn't necessarily want to feed a snake live prey, and I'm not here to debate that. But for someone to think that you shouldn't feed your snake an animal, but rather a snake sausage or something like that. I mean, you're not really doing your snake any service. You're doing yourself a service. You're conveniencing yourself. These animals are wild animals. They have natural instincts. Despite how long they've been in captivity, they are still hardwired to live a specific way. These animals evolved over millions of years to live in very unique ecosystems and to eat very unique prey, right? Like if you look at certain animals, like they're kind of designed to eat the food that they eat. Like it's and to live in the areas in which they live. We can't just step in and be like, oh, I keep you in a box now, I keep you in a tank. You don't do that anymore. This is what you're going to do. Like it doesn't work like that. Doesn't work like that. Like there's mental stimulation involved. There's, that prey instinct we always talk about, that prey drive. Like that's real. Like certain movements trigger certain animals and it's just, but I always go on with Matt, and he's just, I see people sometimes that are like, oh yeah, no snake. I've came up with a tofu snake sausage that's a perfect supplementation of this, and this. And I'm like, why? Why are you keeping a snake if you don't want to feed it what a snake's supposed to eat? Like you should go get a turtle or something.
So are you saying you're against life eating, or are you?
No, not at all. I'm not bashing people that are. I mean, if anything, I'd be all for it, But I think that people that argue it, it drives me nuts. Like that's what they're designed to do. I mean, I get why people don't live feed. I get it, but I would, I mean, that's just me. But I'm referring to the people out there that feel like they don't have to feed a snake a mouse because they have a better idea, like a tofu snake sausage is better. I don't think that's okay. That's kind of weird.
No.
Yeah. But, I mean, that's the whole reason, though, I fell in love with reptiles. Just that predator instinct. I want to see it smash on something. Like, that's why, so Jennifer, how many times a week do you feed your crested geckos live food?
Oh, I feed them once a week, live food.
Okay. So for me, like my chihuahuas, they get live food 3 times a week and they get diet once a week. Just because like you don't like once, and I've had cresties before. So, and I put them on that chihuahua schedule as well. And when I fed those cresties, they went at crickets with toque ferocity.
Oh yeah.
So, and it's like how stimulating is it to go to that bowl of smoothie? That can't be that stimulating. Like they need to move. They need
bar in New Caledonia. There's no smoothie bar on the islands. Like exactly. You're not just rolling up to a smoothie bar.
I understand the whole fruit thing though, because I mean, but that should be like seasonal. Because I doubt fruit there is ripe, 365, right?
That is true.
So why no supplement with those bugs? And plus, and then you're probably gonna have a nice leaner gecko instead of a one that has all kinds of rolls on the side. Like hell, those damn those geckos probably have diabetes from eating all that high sugar.
Oh my
diet.
gosh! Don't say that so loud. My gecko's gonna hear you.
You need to give them some more bugs. That's what you probably should
Okay,
do.
so that's what I need to do. Okay, because I have one. He's got rolls, and I poke at his little fat rolls all the time. But I was like, well, because I give crested gecko diet, like I always have it available. Besides, maybe once or twice a week. And then I give them like a bunch of crickets on Saturdays covered in REPTILE calcium powder, and I just let them at it. But my crested geckos don't want to like hunt them all the time, so I do a variety of some pre-killed and then like some in the mix that they can just run around and hunt. But there are like isopods and stuff like that in there in my because mine are bioactive. But that's interesting to know because then I'm gonna make an adjustment to my crested gecko's diet because my boy
You'll see a
I would
difference.
jinx.
Yeah, you will see a difference
I've
too.
got probably 80 adult crested geckos, made close to 100 adult crested geckos, and I give them mix solely for nutrition. You know, the macros and micros that I can't necessarily guarantee my feeders have. So I think that it's a good delivery method for certain nutrients. But as far as like being mobile and hunting and mental stimulation, and I mean, there's nothing like when you feed an animal live prey that's supposed to eat live prey, like it is super obvious that's what that animal's supposed to do. You know, it's and crested geckos, make no mistake about it, they may be a prey source on the island to some species, but they are a predator. You know, they're not out there looking for greens. You know, certain times of the year when fruits are ripe and they fall off the tree and go to the, you know, fall to the ground super ripe. Yeah, I'd imagine, you know, I've never been there, so I can't say, but and I would love to go, but it's obvious that they are, but not to spin off right field. I watched a video one time. A guy was in New Caledonia, and a fruit was at the bottom of a tree. So he was filming this little bovaya gecko, and he was filming him come down to the fruit that was at the bottom of the tree. Now, ironically, the bovaya wasn't eating the fruit. He was preying on the bugs that were coming down, eating the rotten fruit. So even when given the choice between the rotten fruit, this is just my observation, but given the choice to eat the rotten fermenting fruit or the bugs, he still went for the bugs. So it's an interesting factor. You know, I feel, you know, and I'm not bashing anyone that owns these companies that have done great jobs building up these at least $1 million companies that is around this gecko food. I think that it was branded and marketed as a convenience. No one that's ever kept crested geckos and is honest with themselves has watched them eat bugs and said, nah, this isn't what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to eat this mix. You'd be lying to yourself. You're lying to yourself. You're looking at something that no one else is. I mean, they are predators. I mean, everything they do, from how they move and how they, I spent a lot of time watching mine, and I let them free hunt. You know, I throw bugs into their cages and let them hunt, let them stalk. Every one of them has a different, unique style. You know, some are just crash and bang. You know, they're just at them. And my chihuahuas, I hate to sound crazy, but my chihuahuas, and I offer a mix all the time, again, for the same, you know, nutritional deliverance process. They don't touch the shit. They don't touch it. My chihuahuas, I got 30 now with the babies. 31 with the babies chihuahuas. They very few of them will touch that mix, man. Always bugs, or they just won't. They literally won't eat. I waste money giving it to them because I always give it to them to have, hoping that, you know, they'll, you know, ingest those macros and micros and whatnot, but they don't touch the stuff.
And how many geckos you got?
About 200 geckos altogether.
And you do that all by yourself?
Yeah. Split up over 3 days. I'll run 3 days, you know, three different days. And they all keep water too, which is another controversial thing. But I keep fresh water in every enclosure. All the ones, the babies, juveniles, grow-outs that are in bins, they all get water dishes. I can't say that I've watched them all drink water, but I've seen a lot of them drink water. And someone who spends a lot of time in the gym and whose life revolves around health and fitness, I know how essential and important water is. So for me to have anything alive and not give it fresh water, in my head, is just wrong. So most of my time is spent changing water dishes. You know, like I see
they love the shit in
water
them.
bowl, gotta change them. They crap in the water bowls, yes, gotta change it. I can't go out to work at 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning and see crap in the water bowl. I gotta change it, man. I you know,
I feel that.
it's good for ambient humidity. I mean, water is the element of life, man. Right? Like without water, there's nothing. I give water to my desert species, and I've watched them interact with the water in one way or another. You know, like they if they're not drinking it, they're soaking their butts in it. They're doing something with the water. Water is maybe not as available everywhere these animals come from year round, but at some point or another, water is absolutely in the mix. I mist too. I do mist. I have a misting schedule. I don't use misters. You know, I'll mist by hand just because it gives me an opportunity to inspect every animal in every enclosure, you know, so it's just a method that I have. You know, I have gotten to the point, though, no doubt, where I've had too many animals and was like, listen, I'm pulling pairs apart. They're not producing what I want them to. I have too many. Stop, you know, because I don't breed for sales. Not that I have nothing against people that do. That's not what I'm saying. I breed for me. I got a full-time job. I breed because I love genetics, man. I hate to sound, you know, or speak blasphemy, if you will, but I like to play God, man. I like to interact and see what, you know, genes will interact with other genes and what certain pairs will do, and see if I can make a vision. It's a form of art for me. And I don't breed for sales like with that. So with that being said, I have gotten to the point where I'm like, damn, I got more than I can handle, or more than I want to be able to handle, or it's too many animals where it's compromising my time with these animals. So I'll slow production down, if you will, or separate things, like I said, that weren't pleasing me. And I give things away. I give more geckos away than I've ever sold, you know. People that have an interest or people that love them. I got a nephew, the godson, that's like my nephew, but he's getting into them, man. I'm always giving him something to work with or something exciting. I've met people before that have kids that love them. If you got a kid and you're willing to supervise your child in the care of these animals, hit me up, man. Guarantee I'll give you a kid. You don't got to pay for nothing, man. I'll give you a child, a crested gecko, man. No questions asked. I believe they're our future, you know, so if I could breed these things and give an animal to a child, I promise you there's no amount of money you're going to give me that's going to make me happier than that. You know, it's rewarding in many other ways than financially. You know?
The labor of love.
Hey, and so with that being said, like, what are you trying to do? Are you trying to be like branch out and make your own store? Or are you and Jay trying to combine and make a store together?
Oh man, we're on opposite sides of the world. Like, that'd be hard.
At some point, at some juncture, yeah. Like, I mean, from a kid, my goal has always been to have a reptile, you know, shop, a reptile store. But I'd rather, I don't know how to articulate this. I'd rather have. You've all seen Brian Barczyk's Reptarium, right? Like the Reptarium.
Yes.
That would be my passion, right? That would be my dream, to have a place where my pets are on display, to teach people, for them to come and observe. Like that would be my ultimate goal. Sales, yeah, if I didn't have to swing a hammer all day, it'd be great. I would love to not have to swing a hammer, man. I would love to be able to sell animals for a living, but I don't ever want to fall into that trap where I'm producing animals just to sell or to live. You know, and again, I'm not bashing anybody that does. It's just I don't want that stress. I don't want the stress of having to produce to eat, if that makes sense. You know, I don't want to have to, you know, worry about those types of things. But
I have another question. So you said fitness?
Yeah.
Yeah. Are you natural?
No.
I didn't think so. I was like, man, this guy's ripped. So
no,
I was
I
like,
come down. I bounce around a lot. Right now, I'm just cruising on some Sipinate, but I live on trend, man. You know, trend
that's what I'm on.
I love trend, man. Trend is. I mean, damn, unless you've been on it, you wouldn't understand. It's
Bro,
again like reptiles. People put the fear of God in you and tell you to kill you, to do this or to do that. Man, I tell you flat out, there's no better freaking drug on the planet than fucking trend, man. It's
because trend, I don't know why it elevates anger, but also, like when I take trend, every time I get injected, it feels like venom, like going through your body.
Hell yeah, right? You get warm, might get a little
Yeah.
metallic taste in your mouth, boy, and then you're ready to just grab some freaking iron, man. It's like, yeah, it's a drug from the gods, for real. I love it.
So I got into a fight at a club, right?
I don't give a shit about my hair. My hair already fell out when I was, you know, who gives a
my
crap?
hair fell out too, so I'm good.
I don't give a crap, man.
So
it's a hell yeah.
Like I said, like I got into a fight at the club one night, and I had just taken my shot, and it felt like that shit just powered me, dude. Like, just I was already here the night that dude got in my face. Well, he actually spit in my face, and I just went overboard, bro. I grabbed him by his throat, literally picked him up and took him across the dance floor like that.
Listen,
It's crazy. It
is
makes you
what it
strong,
is,
man.
man.
That's all I gotta say. It makes you stronger.
Man, listen, I try to explain to people, and I don't promote it to everybody, right? Because if you don't understand your body,
Mhm.
right, like you need to be in touch with your body at the deepest levels, man. Like you need to understand what's happening in order to control what happens, if that makes sense. So you can't just go and grab it and be like, I'm gonna just blast this in my shoulder, my ass, my quad. I'm gonna go to the gym and I'm just gonna be fine. Like there's a lot more to it, you know. Like if you're at a stage where you're plateauing or you're really trying to develop a certain part of your body and you're really hitting that plateau, if you hit that wall, you're not getting anywhere, then listen, I'm all for it, man. I'll tell you, you know, I've forgotten more about fucking gear than most people will ever know, man. And I'm not trying to say that to be cocky, but I've been on just about everything, man. And it's real, man. And not for nothing, but you know what? For a long time, the industry would make you think that it's something bad or it's something that's going to
Mhm.
kill you or all these crazy
Yep.
things. Ironically, in the last like 5 years or so, have you seen how much they're just pushing, you know,
Trend?
hormone therapy? How much they're
Yeah.
pushing and telling you, oh, it's a great thing. It's a this. It's that. I've been telling people for 15 fucking 20 years how great it is, but I'm the maniac, right? Now all of a sudden, doctors are prescribing tests for depression. They're just prescribing tests for, you know, obesity. There's all
Yeah,
these new
something.
things they're prescribing it for. It's like I've been trying to tell people that, man. What makes a man is testosterone, right? And if you're not active, if you're not strong, if you're not willing to get up and go get, you got a problem. Like,
So I take 500 cc's of test.
what do you want? C, Siponate?
Yeah,
Ananthate?
no, C, and
Yeah.
then I take
I'm
Trin
taking
E.
right now too. Just six on it, but I bounce around a lot with it. But C and E are very, very similar. Molecularly, they're almost the same compounds. You know, I believe the SIP has a little longer ester life, a little longer, but I've gotten similar results from both, and they're both great bases. They're both good drugs, man. Both good.
I would say this: like I was at 265 and I could have benched 315. I tried to bench 315, I couldn't. I dropped to 195. That's what I weigh right now, 195, and I'm shredded. I benched 315, and I just maxed out at 365.
That's good money. Fuck yeah, that's
Shit.
good money. That's good.
So
It'll do it, man. It's again, I can't explain something to someone that already knows. You know the deal, man.
yeah, I already know it.
It's just
You just gotta leap. You just gotta
yeah,
leap.
yeah. You can't train
Take
like
it.
no freaking bird, man. You know what I'm saying? You can't go to the gym and sit on the bench on your phone and think you're getting anywhere, man. I don't care if you could work out if you worked out for a half hour, so failure, right? A half hour, as hard as you freaking can. You don't got to be in the gym for 3 hours, 4 hours. Like that's not what matters. Push yourself until failure and you're going to see results, man. It's going to the gym and sitting on your phone and talking to your boys, talking about you're in the gym. It's not doing nothing. Go to the gym, shut your mouth, pick shit up and put it down, man.
Facts.
Huh?
I mean, he ain't
Said
wrong.
facts right
There's a
there.
lot of people
Yeah.
just sit there,
Yeah.
but I mean, I don't know. So what is one favorite thing about the gecko hobby that you guys like and don't like?
I mean, for me, like I said, I don't care for morphs. That's not my thing. I love the wild types of everything. Like when I hear morphs, I hear genetic. Those are mutations that are. What the hell? What did Rain say? They're like
Genetic mutations. A morph is a
yeah, well,
genetic mutation.
yeah, just a genetic mutation. That's not. They're just not as strong as that wild type, right? So that's my whole thing right there. I mean, they look good, but like when you start seeing all these things, so like in the leopard gecko, right? Those enigmas, they got shit going on with them in their head, right? Ball pythons, spiders, they got shit going on in their head. In carpet world, you got I think is it Jag?
Yes.
I can't remember. Yeah, they got
Jags,
shit going on in their head. Leopard gecko again, lemon frost. They had that cancerous shit, right? Just because we're trying to get find that next mutation. Like I said, for me, I love the wild types. I love people that want to just mess with wild types. I love, the folks that want to find the unknown, like figure out the unknown, like, figure out how can we care for these things properly. Uh, so like right now, my goal right now is like I'm collecting all these different geckos, but I want to have my website and put my experiences on there on how I'm caring for all these things, just so we have some kind of a resource for these things. So I'm always documenting, I'm always writing notes down. All right, what's working, what's not working, what did I change? And always put that in the perspective of, look, I live in Arizona, so it might be a little bit different where, Ant live in Connecticut, so you got to always put that kind of stuff in perspective. But that's why I don't like. I mean, I say don't like, but I just don't even participate in that. So for those people that do, good on you. Like, keep going. Like, if you want to make, as long as you're not like making these things that are going to kill these animals, I'm good. Like, those people that want to make a super lily, or not even a super lily, like that want to do like lemon frost, right? If you keep on making these lemon frost and you know that they're producing cancer, why do you keep doing it? Like, are you just trying to get money, or are you actually caring for these animals? So that's the part of the hobby I don't really jive with. When they want to keep producing things that are gonna kill these animals. And like I said, part of the hobby that wants to learn, I love that. Like, keep on learning, never stop learning. Like I said, you stop learning, you're dead, right? So that's for me.
Bugs.
Yeah.
Bugs. I mean, personally,
So-
I could say.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, I was gonna ask y'all about the lutistic crested gecko. What's y'all's take on that? But I want to hear your answer to that.
I don't know much. I don't know much about him. I tell you, I'm watching and listening. I'm definitely observing. It's nothing I want to recreate. So I have no interest in buying them. I think that it's super interesting. I would love to hear what they find. Like what is causing it. What's the actual gene that's doing it. I think it's, again, super interesting. But I don't know much. I don't know much about it. David over at Tiki's got some. A lot of people are working with him in Korea. And I guess they're starting to do a lot of out crosses and whatnot with this super hypo, whatever they're calling it. But I can't say I never, but I'm genuinely pretty good at listening to my heart, right? And I have no interest, I guess. They're cool.
Yeah.
They're cool as hell. I like working with the things that bring me joy. Every time I have a clutch of eggs laid where I'm excited, like, damn, what's going to look like? What did I do? Did it work? Did my vision come to light? With them, there's not much else to do. You have a white, clear gecko, and that's it. There's no combination of patterns. There's no anything that you could really do with them other than, I guess, better the structure, which they absolutely need. They're lacking crest structure. They're not, from the ones I have seen, they look like a chicken strip, a raw chicken strip. But everything starts that way, I guess, right? Everything evolves. I mean, they eventually. I have faith. I've just seen so much go wrong, with the super caps, man. They were this big thing selling for 15, 20 grand. And then a year later, like, oh, they have this issue, they have that issue. And the whole thing went boom. It's like, damn, what happened to the people that spent that 10 grand on that gecko? Like, what is someone
put in a house for sale? Shit.
What's anybody saying to them, which is a super exciting time in the hobby, just because I'd imagine a ball python hobby went through this, every other hobby that has these crazy morphs, leopard geckos, all started as square one, right? We all started with probably like your regular albino and your exanthic. And then after that, whatever people can do, happens, so we're kind of at that phase, last 2-3 years alone in the crested gecko hobby. I mean, damn, how many genes have popped up? The cap, the this hypo thing, your exanthics have popped up finally. I mean, again, a little while ago, I guess, the sable, this highway thing, which I guess is part of the cap complex. I mean, there's just so many things that are happening it's invigorating. You know, it's cool to watch. You know, but other than that, I wish everyone the best that's working with them. I don't wish anyone in this hobby any ill luck. You know, I hope everybody. I mean, even people I don't see eye to eye with. I hope everyone succeeds with whatever it is they set out on. It's the animals here, not my personal agreements or disagreements with anybody, man. These animals' lives and health are in our care, and I wish whatever it is that anyone does with their animals, nothing but the best.
Boom.
Oh yeah. Right. That was good.
Yeah.
So what are some challenges y'all faced?
Like as far as caring for animals.
Caring for animals, like with the
Well,
podcast.
I mean, podcast
Could be
is
anything.
technology, right? Sometimes it wants to work, sometimes it doesn't want to work. Like I think for like the past couple episodes, we had to restart it because something was going on. So I mean, you always got that kind of issue or challenge that you got to work with. Just try to figure it out. As far as animals, at least for me, like I said, I live in Arizona. I live in a dry ass state, so
Mhm.
trying to keep tropicals, that's a challenge for me. But I love that challenge. Like, no, I told Ant, like, I'm starting to work with more montane species because I want to have that challenge. I want to see if I could keep a cooler species and just keep them successfully. Not even have to breed them. Just keep them. See if I'm able to work with them. Like, there's some things I just won't even touch, and Ant already knows what that is. Like, I won't touch a Bronia at all. I love them to death. Like, those are like the most gorgeous lizards I've ever seen, and I just won't, because their parameters are so strict that I just don't think I would properly do them justice in Arizona. And I don't want my AC bill to be like $600 a month.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm not
Dang.
going to do that stuff. Yeah. Like, I mean, now I've heard like they need to be super, like, depending on what species it is. You might have to. It has to be a little bit cooler than what you would really need. Um, but there's also some species that can take a little bit of a drier climate. But like I said, I live in Arizona. Maybe if I move somewhere where I got some more humidity, I could keep them in a decent spot. But here, ain't happening. Like I said, I got some arid species, but now I'm starting to move into more montane species. But no, and like I said, it's just a challenge that I want to try to conquer. Whether it's I'm not like I said, I'm not trying to breed with those montanes. I just want to see if I could do it. Just see if I could keep them thriving, healthy, and not have to worry about them. Like, I had a situation this past summer. My AC went out of my apartment, and I had Europlatus. So it was figuring out. Eyes got big on that one. But
Yeah.
but you figure things out. You figure out how to get it. Make sure you keep the parameters right. And it was like, all right, I'm busting out frozen water bottles. I had a humidifier, put ice water in that thing, so when it blows out cool, it'll blow out a cool fog. So now I'm still reducing their temperatures to where they're safely, where I can keep them more safer instead of like, my chauffeurs, they're fine. I just turn off the lights because it was like 80 some degrees in my place, like 85, 86. But those tanks that needed it, they stayed in like around 75 just because I got around, all right, ice water, frozen water bottles. So like the condensation will drip, keeps everything nice and cool in there. So it's little things like that. But I mean, yeah, those are probably some of the bigger challenges for me.
Very tedious.
Yeah, exactly. I was
I
mad
feel
as
like
hell because
it's
it took forever to fix my AC.
Yeah, I feel the same way. Because like like having a heating and cooling system that's like super professional is so expensive. And I live in an apartment, and my thermostat it's just one of like those turn things, and it doesn't you barely see like what the numbers say on it. I mean, it's just like a piece of crap. And so like I'm in
Bullshit.
here. I literally, you guys, I'm not even kidding you. I was so stressed about moving like my animals out of the closet where I was just using like a tiny little space heater, that would turn off by itself, man, like manage itself to like this big room where I have a window. I got a freaking door right there that's like right next to like the door that goes outside. So I'm like always tripping about having the door closed, and I'm always in here like for like the first few weeks I was in here like every day just making sure like these vents were going to turn on, that and I have this hygrometer that is literally linked to my phone so I can track what it was at night and what it was going through like throughout the week, just so I can like make sure that my temperatures were exactly where I wanted them. Maybe they won't work for somebody else, but they work perfectly for me, you know.
You should
But it
get
is
some of those
tedious.
govies. Yeah, get some of those
Someone.
govies. Govies?
Yeah, that's what I have. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
Those are
connected to
nice.
my
awesome.
phone. I just
Yeah,
hate that I
nice. Yeah.
can't. Do you know any of them that like you can be away from home and still connect to? Because this one is just
Well,
Wi-Fi.
not
I'm
Bluetooth.
just going to get a
Govi.
Wi-Fi instead of the Bluetooth.
Yeah.
Okay, so just the Wi-Fi. Okay.
I got all the Wi-Fi ones. I could be anywhere I want and check mine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I got
You
all the
just get yours
Bluetooth
off.
ones.
You guys just get yours off Amazon too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah. Yeah, that's why I mostly get mine too. And I also got like a bunch of hygrometers just for like inside like my geckos enclosures. My snake, he has like a thermostat on his light, so it dims when it gets too hot or gets past a certain point. All my reptiles are really like geeked up like that. I really like have to make sure that they get what they need. So
Yeah,
not like my tarantulas, you know, they're fine with like the room temperature of it being comfortable for them. About like 76 degrees is a good temperature. But like I have babies in here. I have tons of baby tarantulas, so it has to be like a little bit warmer. And they're placed on certain points of the shelves for different temperatures. Like if my males are mature, I stow them somewhere a little bit cooler so I can have them longer, in a little bit smaller of a container. So yeah, and I just think it's like those tedious things too that really intimidate people from like trying these things, because like sometimes it's like an experiment. I mean, like especially with those Pac-Man frogs, it was like an experiment. It was like, okay, this is either it's gonna work or it's not. But that's how I feel about that. It's just tedious for sure. But
You
if
have
you
to,
get it dialed down, it's easy.
do you have to give bugs like spiders supplemental heating? Like, do they get UVB or like heat pads or anything like that? Do you have to give that stuff to spiders, or just your ambient is enough?
The ambient is enough. We don't recommend heat pads unless it's like for like a nursery for like a bunch of slings inside of another enclosure. But even then, you would want to put it on the side and not the bottom, because like, and if you didn't have a thermostat, that's why we just don't even recommend it, because you guys know like those heat mats can get so hot, and if you don't know like the temperature, you could be cooking your animals. So, but the ambient temperature is enough. So yeah,
Interesting.
Nice.
but they my tarantula is like, there's like this big window right here, and so they get all like that natural light in the room. And to be honest, spiders love the light and they really enjoy it. Like all of my spiders love sunbathing in the light. Um, it's just like you don't want to have like a heat light on them or anything, because this kind of let me I'm sorry if I'm just like tripping up right now.
No, you're all good.
So tarantulas, they don't have like brains like a reptile does. They have like a collection of cells called ganglia that it's essentially just like two big nerves that makes up their nervous system. So they don't comprehend things the same way as our reptiles do. So like them, they could easily sit under a heat lamp and cook themselves and not even know that they're cooking themselves. So that's why we don't recommend the heat lamps at all. It's just because, they're just not good for the tarantulas. I've never had to use a heat light. The ambient temperature is good enough. But you don't want to just. I do feel like there are some people that get like the notion that you can just like have your tarantulas in a house that's like 60 degrees. You're going to end up having some spiders that are going to die for sure.
I wouldn't
I
want to
don't
be in
want
the
to use
house at
60
60
degrees.
degrees.
Yeah, that's chilly for us, but there is more to it than just like having them in your house. I feel like
Yeah.
that's just part, like people are missing a little bit.
So do you
There's a
gotta
lot to it.
supplement spiders, like their feeders? Do you have to supplement them, like put powder on them or anything like that?
Nope. So I just give my spiders all a good variety of different kinds of bugs. I will feed them roaches, mealworms, crickets, and that's just about it for me. But I usually try to give them, different kinds. Some of them will only eat crickets though. Like seriously, like my Avic, she's uh she's a Guyana pink toe tarantula, and she literally, like, she will not eat roaches. I try to feed them to her. I've tried to feed her mealworms, and the only thing she eats is crickets. So, and that's like the same thing with my big scorpion. He only likes crickets. Other things he like, it's like ew.
So, oh man, what else was I ask? I fart. With the spiders, is it so have they, like I say, because you don't, what about your feeders though? Are you like, do you have to, you gut load them and all that?
Yeah.
What kind
So
of
I
stuff do you like
usually
to use for that?
So for cricket care, I have critter keepers, and I use just like a little bit of soil at the bottom, and then I go in there like a couple times a week. I'll just pick out like the dead ones. I'm usually just using like cricket calcium though, by Flukers. It's the stuff right here, and I usually
Yeah.
just feed them this. And then sometimes lettuce, but you have to be really careful about um, feeding them lettuce because they will literally eat themselves to death and like they'll die. So I only supplement them with lettuce like every so often, just like a little bit at a time. And then I will spray them with water like, every other day to every 2 days. Just really depends on how dry it is here too. But the thing is, like, I also have like dehumidifiers and humidifiers too. And my boyfriend is always running the shower, which drives me insane sometimes because, like, I'm just like, oh, you're making it so humid. Oh, my spiders are gonna die. And I'm just like, so we have a dehumidifier for him because he likes to be in the shower.
Oh
But
man.
it works. It works.
Hey Chris, what you work with, man? Shit.
I work with
You look
everything.
like a retic guy.
I am. I got
Yeah.
retics, boas, hog
That's cool.
noses, rat snakes.
Oh, I like rat
I
snakes.
work.
Those are cool.
Yeah, I got king rat snakes. I got broadband water snake.
Any
Nice.
venomous?
Just the hog noses, rear fang venomous. I want to get a mangrove.
Oh, the
That's my
boegas.
net
Yeah.
Yeah,
because I have a
I
tattoo on my
want to get
head, so
into
that's
that.
exactly what I want. See,
there
Nice.
you
thank
go.
you.
Very cool.
That's what's up.
So
Yep.
I got like venomous snakes on my arm because I say I'm rear fang, but I always say I'm toxic. So girls stay away from me. I
You look
do,
like the toxic kind.
and people and people always laugh though. But it's funny because like when I came into the hobby back in 2018, I legit like branded out just brand. I didn't have any snakes to smell. I just sold merch. I branded out with hats. I came in with keychains, stickers, you name it. And my
That's
first
what's
year, I made
up.
20K.
That's what's
20K
up.
in my first year, just hustling
Damn.
my own brand. And then I
See,
started
that's
buying
what I would like
snakes.
to do, man. Not even sell the animals, but do that. That's what's up, man.
So yeah, I have
Yeah,
like
'cause they keep
cups.
coming back for merch. It's cheaper than buying a snake or buying a gecko.
Yeah, I have
So
like
true.
shirts, you name it, shirts. I just launched another shirt, the snake gear. I just
Yeah.
dropped another shirt. I have like cups, hats,
Yeah.
you name
What do you
it.
go through?
I even got I got women underwear, bikini.
Yo,
No, I'm
you
not
Send
send
me
even
some free
joking.
everything.
samples.
Yo.
I'm not
Send
even
me some
joking.
free
Like I
samples.
do.
It's fine. My boyfriend will
I've
just
done.
be looking at it. It's
I
not
was
like I
like,
have like a OnlyFans or anything.
What are you designing them? Are you're obviously designing them yourself, but are you using like a third party thing? Or are you going right to like a print shop and having them make your stuff for you?
I do it through Printify.
Okay.
So like
I've been
Printify
looking
has it
at
all.
it
That
too.
has like you can
Send me
go in
that.
there.
Yo, send a link for that, please. Like
I'll send it to you.
after this. Yeah,
Yeah,
send me
I'll
that.
send that to you. Yeah, like I'll send it to you. I send everything I use. Like I'll tell you how to do
Yeah.
it too. So it lets you like on swimsuits for the women, like they've done photo shoots for me. They'll send me the pictures and I'll post
Yeah, I
them.
won't
But
do no photo shoots.
That's awesome.
No
That's how
photo
you
shoots for
do it,
me.
man. Not for
I was
nothing.
just
I tell
saying.
people all the
I'm
time.
legitimately, you guys, no cap, I'm rated R. I'm serious. I can't even go to the pool because I'm rated R. Like I
Oh
get
shit.
stared at wherever I go.
It's all
So
good. It's all
yeah,
good.
yeah.
But
It's a brilliant business move, man, because not for nothing. I mean, we all keep multiple reptiles. There's only so many you could keep. There's only so many you could keep. So how much as a reptile breeder and seller, you're already limited on how much money you can make. Now, t-shirts, clothes, hats, you could keep them forever. You could buy them forever. You could also sell them forever, right? Like you're really limited when you're selling and dealing with living things.
Yeah.
Apparel and clothes, bro, that's where it's at. Like I keep trying to
That can sit on your shelf and you don't have to worry about feeding it. So yeah, definitely right there, man.
facts, man. Facts.
Yeah.
And you could collect them the same way. You could do everything the same. Like I designed all of our logos and like these shirts and stuff, man. I love messing with like digital stuff. And I made these little ghetto geckos, man. Like I love digital
That's
art
awesome.
and art in general, man. I was slinging ink for 10, 15 years. I tattooed, you know. I just
I got my
think
sponsors
it's a
tattooed right here too. Look,
brilliant business move. There you go.
it's my sponsors, and then I got my logo over here.
Is that tarantula
Right
Chris?
here.
That's what's
No,
up.
my logo's right
I
here,
think
and I got another logo over here.
shit. The only skin I got is from my neck up. The rest of my body is covered, man. I literally,
So I'm
man,
gonna
from
so
here up.
I'm gonna hook you up with my boy Epic. He was just in here, Junior. Dude, he does some badass shirts. Hit him up.
For
Send him a
definitely.
logo, and he'll flat that thing down on the shirt, and the shirt like you can wash it so many times it won't mess up. Where he gets the things done, like printed out. They don't
Yeah,
like tear, they don't rip or nothing like that on the shirt. So I'm gonna hook you up with him,
word. Because
and
there's
you
a
can
lot
get
more
them
to it than
shirts.
people understand. Like when me and Jay were doing it, I went down the worm rabbit hole, man, and I was learning about, there's so many different styles of printing. You got your silk screening, your direct to garment, your color transfer. There's like so many different things that all matter when it comes to quality. Like your garment weights, the weight of the shirts, the sweatshirts. I mean, it's something that I really like, though. I really, really enjoy it. I just can't have a hard time. I need to find someone to articulate my ideas to. Like, this is what I want, is someone that will work with me, that knows the technologies, I guess, and the right way to do it, man. But I've been saving artwork and stuff for a long time for me and Jay trying to build this little brand thing.
Fucking Matt. God damn. Oh
Yeah,
shit.
too.
Hey,
He was,
he has an idea though. That's a good one.
Yeah.
right?
But yeah, like if you shoot me your ideas and whatever and whatnot, I'll play with it too because I'm
Fuck
really
yeah.
good
Hell
at that.
yeah, man. I appreciate it. Absolutely, man. I would love to,
Yeah.
man. I got so, dude. Me and Jay talked about it all the time. It's just like the companies we were trying to use, they all seem like scams, right? Like, what was the one company where they're like, you could pre-design the stuff and then you don't actually have to print it and store it per se. They'll like print it and sell it as it's ordered. But
Yeah, it's Teespring and shit.
I guess if that's the name, I don't freaking know. But
They,
there's
Yeah, it
always
was
like a
there,
catch
their quality
22.
though. Yeah,
yeah,
their
it was
quality is
Teespring,
shit.
Store Frontier. I also do like oversized fitted shirts for like the gym shirts.
Okay. Yeah.
So I also did like the Rip Brass. I have like with my logo on it. It says Flex and Finesse and Reptile.
Oh yeah, man! You got a
Yeah,
badass
like
Viper.
gym wear.
The "Don't Tread on Me," the American flag thing. Like the old
Yeah.
American flag is the timber rattle. I drew up a thing. I don't have it digitalized, but he's wrapped around a dumbbell. So he's wrapped around a dumbbell with. I got a whole line of just gym clothing for these reptiles, man. I would love to be able to fucking print them out.
So there's a girl in our group chat. If you like, I can put y'all in there. It's the Untamed Network chat, but she actually went to school for that.
Real digital, like digital.
Yeah,
art.
to digitalize. She digitalized my other my other podcast logo that we're about to launch. We're
See, because
launching
that's the
another
problem.
podcast.
That's the problem is I can't find the software or figure out how to do it. I just ordered one of those automated or animated intros for the new podcast. So I haven't even seen it yet. I sent them my logo, picked out a template or whatever, and sent the money. So they said within 96 hours I'll have the finished copy. So I'm like actually dreading what they did, because how can you make what I want without talking to me? He didn't talk to me, asked me a couple questions, and I guess it's like a $40 gamble, but we'll see.
Yeah, I got hoodies and everything. I've done everything. Leggings. I got women's leggings. You name it, man. I got everything.
Where are you selling them? Just on your IG? Do you have a store? You got a website? Where can people
Yeah,
find you?
on my IG, I post them, and they'll hit me up or like, hey, can I get the leggings or whatever,
Do you have any
and I'll
plans on
send it
building
to
a
them.
website, like a full-blown website?
Nah, I just had to print it out on Printify.
I mean, like in the
So
future, do
what
you plan on making a website? Do you have any
Oh
plans?
yeah, I do. Yeah, I do want to make a website. Oh,
You'll
so
kill
going
it,
back
bro.
to what you said, like how Brian Barkshark has a reptarium. You know what I wanted to do? I wanted to do a gym on the bottom and then a snake like reptarium on top. You know what I
Right?
mean? So they can come into the gym, work out,
Ooh.
and if they want afterwards, take the kids up. But that membership's gonna be hella expensive because you get all of that and the tour,
Fuck yeah. Or
different
leave the
reptiles.
kids upstairs while you work out. Let the kids go upstairs
Yeah,
and take a workshop. Learn about reptiles while you're downstairs getting money. Hell yeah.
yeah. And I was like, man, like, dude, they're like, everybody's like, that's a good idea. And then the weight room like has some tanks in there, like for like with snakes in them, and then the weight's all snake headed or something. I think
Hell
that
yeah.
should be sick.
Dope. That'd be dope. Damn, my mind's already going crazy, man. Do the rubber floor like a scale pattern. You do some sick shit, man.
So that's what my goal was. Like, I wanted to do that. It was up, Lakers. Thanks for
That's
coming,
awesome,
man.
man. I'll tell you
So
what, if
that
I
was
can
my
give you
goal.
any piece of advice on that, brother, don't let anybody talk you out of nothing. Do it. Do it. Don't let nobody tell you anything at all. Do it. Run it.
Man, I'm
Follow
trying,
your
man. I'm
dreams, man.
trying.
Listen to your heart, man. You know what I'm saying? Follow your passion. If you believe in it, as crazy as it sounds, but that energy will spread to other people, man. If you could think it and you have a passion in it, a passion, other people will too. I believe it, man. People's passion sells, not products, not ideas. It's people's passion that people ultimately fall in love with.
And it's
That's how
funny
I
you say
got
that
into
because
tarantulas.
oh, go ahead, Jen. I'm sorry.
You're fine. That's how I got into tarantulas, is from watching other people that kept tarantulas, because I had no idea that they even sold them for people to keep. I didn't even know people were keeping them in their houses. I thought it was crazy. And then I was like, oh my God, they have hearts on their butts? That's amazing. We got ones that are pink, that are like multicolor, ones that do this, do that, do this. Oh, I was like, screw those like Gucci bags. I want some cool tarantulas.
They're popular too. Bugs over the last few years. I mean, they've always kind of been popular, but
Mm-hmm.
from someone that doesn't keep them, I don't keep them, but like as an observer or like a consumer, they're big lot of attention around bugs right now, man. Bugs in general, all types of bugs, mantises, the scorpions, the spiders. I mean, a lot of money.
For
They
the
A lot of money
emerald,
to be
deserve
have
it.
y'all
made.
seen the emerald cockroaches?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I've
No,
seen 'em.
but
Yeah.
like the banana green cockroaches.
I mean, they're just like really
Is that what they're
pretty
called?
green emerald
They're like
roaches.
real shiny and shit, but like that,
Yeah,
like real shiny green, like an emerald. Yeah.
I've seen
like a
but
metallic.
bananas, but I don't know if that's the same thing. I
No,
keep a lot
but
of
bananas
roaches.
are
Too. I keep
big.
like
Yeah, banana roaches are
7, 8
big.
different species of roaches I breed too.
Yeah, but these are like real bright green. I think they're like actually small though. They stay small.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I
I
know
I'll
was
send you a
looking it up.
picture later
Yeah.
if they're the same ones I'm talking about. I'll show you a picture of the ones I'm thinking of. Some
Because
people use them for feeders. The ones I'm talking about, people use for feeders.
Yeah, mostly like chameleons like love those things.
yeah, but this guy was talking about he pays like $50 for a roach. Like what? I'm not paying no
Yeah,
$50 for a roach.
I got some
hell,
of them
tripping.
here
like
for
ice
breeding,
alive, bro.
for bank, man.
You'll
I
find
don't
them for
sell them,
free.
but people
Right?
do. People do.
Go outside
Go
and
to
lift up a
some,
rock.
go to
Jet,
somebody's house.
jet
Go to
black
somebody's
kissing
house.
cockroaches, man. They're solid black, like this big with horns on them, like 4 inches long with big old horns on them, jet black. Cool.
But
Those ones
yeah,
are cool.
man. Like in 2018, there was a lot of drama when I came in here. And when I came in, everybody would ask me like, "What do you want to do?" I was like, "I want to like be a positive light for people. I want to bring people
Facts.
together. I want to,
That's awesome.
get rid of this negativity because there was a bunch of it. There was a bunch of it. Like people were at each other's throats, putting each other down, kicking people out. Like I was like, what the heck? So I started like jumping into giveaways. I would donate reptiles,
That's
like
awesome.
and then I would buy reptiles, and then I would do when they would like I guess do the auction off to help people like with
Yeah.
but money problems. I guess back then they would like we're having a raffle or to help them pay their bills or whatever or whatnot, and I would like
Yeah.
give money,
Wow.
Well, if you ever do it again
and
and it happens and you need someone to donate, on behalf of me and Jason, I will always contribute to something like that, man. I got geckos all day. I don't sell them, but trust me, I got a lot of people that would like to buy my animals, man. And I again don't sell them. But if you got something like that going on that's good for people, that can help people, a charity, a giveaway, a donation that does anything in any which way, shape, or form of uniting people, hit me up. I got you.
yeah, I mean just that. What's up, Jay?
Oh no, I heard someone off the top of my head. I was like, "What the hell's going on?" Being nosy
I
and
heard
shit.
that too.
It's a
Yeah, no, I
shame
thought they
there's
said
more
Jason.
people doing that, bro. It's a shame there's not more people that think the way you think, But all you could really do, and I tell people this all the time, is just, one, become the change you want to see in people, right? It's one of the most brilliant things anybody ever said to me. I used to be an angry young kid, man, and I paid dearly for my anger. And
Me too.
this dude said to me one time, he says, stop being mad at who people are and become the change you would like to see in them. Like don't be an angry, mean, miserable person, but be a happy, joyful, pleasant person. And maybe those people will feed off your energy, right? Like if you're a happy person, a pleasant person, a nice person, utmost important, a respectful person, it's you're just a better contribution to the world, man. You're a more valuable asset to people by being friendly, by being open, by being understanding. The other way ain't no good, man. Being it just don't lead to nothing good, man.
Yeah, I was like that as a kid. Like a kid, I was always angry. So I joined a gang. You know, um, it's funny because I joined a gang, and then when I got out, I became a cop, and then I joined
That's
SWAT.
crazy.
Yeah,
Damn.
That's
and
crazy.
then
How do
No,
you
I mean
do
I've
that?
heard plenty of those. I heard plenty of those stories too. Like
I mean, I don't know.
bang bang. And next thing you know, they on the opposite side of that. Like I said, I worked in detention centers and see all that same shit too. So I understand that one.
Because
Yeah.
like if
Oh,
you're, sorry, Chris, but I have to ask this. But since you were in a gang, like you had to have gotten in trouble, and like don't you have to have like a crystal clean record to be like a
yeah,
cop or something?
yeah. But I didn't get in trouble like that. Like I didn't get
He
Oh,
caught.
didn't get
Let's
caught.
just say
That's what
that.
he's
oh,
saying.
you didn't
Yeah,
caught.
you
Okay,
definitely
okay.
I
you
mean,
don't
I
always have
always
to get
fought.
trouble.
Like, trust me, I'm a fighter. Like, I have videos I can send you. Like, I'm a bouncer right now. I bounce at night, so I
I
get
can
into
see
a lot of
that.
fights.
Yeah, yeah. I'm sure the people are so dumb when they're drunk.
Yeah,
They're
and
so dumb.
so I'm gonna tell you, like, I give them 3 chances. So, like, they started smoking a cigarette inside the club, right? So I say, look, hey man, you can't smoke in here, and he goes, huh? I said, bro, you can't smoke in here. You gotta take that outside. And he goes, huh? I said, now this guy's playing with me, right? So I said, look, bro, I'm gonna tell you one more time, and then I'm gonna take you out. And I go, you gotta take this or outside or put it out, you know? And he goes, huh? I jumped off the stage, bro, picked him up. I took him out, bro. I picked him up. I was so
He's like,
mad.
ah,
You
why'd
can't
you
fix
do
stupid.
that?
Promise you that. You can't fix stupid.
No.
Facts. Yep.
I mean, I give him like 3 chances. So if they don't listen, they don't follow the orders, then they're gone, man. It's plain and
That's a
simple.
noble
Like,
thing to do. Not everybody would give him 3 chances. I promise you that.
Yep.
no,
You're
it
like,
would have
put this
been
shit
probably
out.
the first
What?
one. Yeah.
Ooh.
See, and I usually do that too, but everybody's like, dude, you're learning, like, because I used to grab the bottles out of their hand, and then we start swinging, and everybody's
Oh.
like, oh, now you're learning, you're growing up. Well, I'm like, I'm 39, bro, but I don't look 39 because of the roids and stuff. So
That's life, man. It's you learn, right? If we ain't learning as we getting older, man, we got a problem, you know. So
Yep.
Yeah, that's insanity. Bumping your head on
But
something and doing it again, expecting the same or a different result.
that's
Yeah.
for damn sure.
but
I'll tell you
but
what, I was
learning
insane
patience,
for about 30 years of my life. I was the definition of insane.
yeah, I
And
was gonna say like learning patience though came, but it came in pain, bro, because like I was in a coma for 6 months. I've been shot, stabbed. I had to learn like how to walk from that 6 months being in a coma again, you know.
Oh my God.
And then losing like my dad the last 3 years, and then I got these bleeding ulcers, you know, because I lost my dad and I started drinking heavily. And then I met my girl and she gave me an ultimatum. I was like, either you stop drinking or I'm gonna block you, because she
Damn.
was actually she had actually quit drinking.
mm,
So she gave me and you know, it's like you taste like alcohol and I can't. It makes me want to drink and I can't, you know, be kissing you like that. I was like,
if you drink, you're
damn,
fucking with
like
that trend, bro. If you're taking that trend, I mean, I don't know about regular tests or whatever. Don't fuck with no booze in the trend.
yeah, I know. And then once I sold that last year, one before I got the ulcers, when she gave me that ultimatum, I had jumped on it. I had jumped on test and trim, and when
Mm,
I jumped on that, he was like, "Dude, you can't drink." I was like, "Fuck." So I was
yeah,
like, "Okay, well then I guess I'm gonna stop drinking," and I
it's a
stopped
better
drinking.
life.
Yeah.
It's a better life. Stay on the gear, stay
Well,
healthy, stay sober. It's a better life.
Yeah.
well, it
Yeah.
was the
Don't.
fact that I didn't want to face the fears. Like I was numbing the pain.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
That's all I was
That was
doing
your
was numbing the
coping
pain.
mechanism.
Why would you say that, man? Because people don't get it, man. Like fear, despite what anybody says, man, the toughest of the toughest of the toughest motherfuckers predominantly do everything they do out of fear, whether it's fear of losing something, fear of not having something, fear of not gaining something. Everything we do or do not do as human beings is fear based. And that's just a
Yeah.
fact, man. And I ain't never told anybody this, right? And Jay's gonna look at me like I'm fucking crazy. But everything you talk about, dog, I lived a gang life. Gang bang until I landed in jail for 9.5 years of my fucking life. Was in jail for 9.5 years of my life. Shot, stabbed. Everything you're talking about is my motherfucking life. I'm in court right now because I owe $46,000 in restitution for taking a kid's eyeball. Beat his
Yeah,
head
my
in,
thumb
cracked
cut
his
off.
skull. Kid lost his fucking eye. And I tell you, I've learned from this. I have learned and paid dearly. I have paid with my fucking life. And it almost chokes me up, dude, because I see people doing the same shit. And I'm just like, fuck, man, I was the same kid, right? Like, everybody told me what was going to happen. Everybody told me what was going on. And I'd be like, how do you know? How do you know? Did you do it? Do you know? You can't tell me nothing. You don't know. And sure as shit, everything everybody told me always came to light, always happened. Now here I am, 41 years later, 41 years old. And all I have is hard lessons learned, man. Hard lessons learned. And it made me ultimately a better person, right? I'm a much more understanding person. I'm damn sure a lot less violent. And that's not because I can't be, it's because I know the repercussions, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm tired of losing. I'm tired of giving it up. I'm tired of sacrificing in life. I'm done. Life is a beautiful thing. I'm married. I got a dog. I got all these animals, man. I'm reaping the rewards of being a law-abiding, good person. My family is closer with me now. I have my family back in my life. I have nieces and nephews who idolize the ground I walk on. You know, it's when you're out there in them streets, man, what are you doing it for? The cat right next to you, the guarantee isn't writing you when you're locked up. Guarantee you isn't sending you a fucking dollar when you're in jail. He's not putting no shoes on your feet. He's not sending your kid's mother no money to feed your baby where you're going. You're out of the picture and you're replaced by the next dumbass who's willing to do some shit that the homeboy standing right next to you is not gonna do. You know, it's a never-ending repetitive circle that ends nowhere, behind bars, in a grave, or an old gray man regretting everything he did in his fucking youth, man. It's a shame. It's a shame. But reptiles can save you, man. Reptiles can save you. Reptiles,
Keep you out
animals,
the
Yeah.
streets.
they
I
save
was gonna
me.
say,
Reptiles keep me off the streets. I ain't got time for that shit. Not that I would be, you know what I'm saying? I learned my lesson with 9.5 years in federal penitentiary. I'm not talking about no kitty jail, no county jail. I was at USP Allenwood, USP Coleman, United States penitentiaries. I mean,
And that's
it's
where I work.
it's
Because when I was on
man,
the
listen,
CERT
every day
team,
you're fighting for your life, man. Your life is on the line every motherfucking day in a USP, man. It's not a game. It's not a joke. Motherfuckers die for. And I'm not even trying to sound like a maniac, man. You would die for looking at the next man's shit. Your
hmm
eyes, you don't touch, man. Listen, you will be respectful, or you will be, man. It is what it is, man, and it's just is what it is, man. It's how life should be, though. You should ultimately always be respectful. Everything we do, you got to be grateful. You got to be grateful for every breath we take, for every meal we have, for every interaction we have the opportunity to make. You don't know how many people that I have become friends with. They will never have the opportunities we have again, man. I did time with Johnny Papa, Anthony Center, Tommy Karate, Tommy Patera, cats that are sentenced to multiple life sentences, man. Sat with these cats every day. Every day sat with them. They will never have a breath in freedom again. They will never see freedom again.
dang.
You know, it's hard not to be grateful for having the opportunity to have a bad day. A bad day. Your worst day is better than somebody's cat's best. You know, it's in reptiles. If reptiles would keep you on the straight and narrow, or keeps you occupied, or keeps you busy from doing these other things that have no value and hold no value, and God bless, man. Like I said, I don't tell people. And this is the first time I've ever publicly told anybody. I've gotten into debates with people and arguments. And some people have Googled me and been like, oh, he's a fucking criminal. And I never got a chance to defend myself. But I've never come out and actually said anything to anybody. And I've always been hesitant to. But these animals, for the first time in the content that it came out, I will openly say that these animals keep me on the straight and narrow, man. I don't have the time. I got money invested in them. I need to be here. I can't be out fucking around, chilling with people that I used to chill with. I can't. They keep me focused. They keep me centered. You know, and I know other people like my buddy. You know, I got other friends, let's say, that have had addiction problems. You know, I haven't personally, but I know people that have had addiction issues that have literally sobered up and refocused that addiction to reptiles, right? Which is arguably the lesser two devils, if you will, right? I mean, if you're addicted to reptiles versus, you know, alcohol, heroin, coke, whatever the fuck it may be, God bless, right? Like, you know, they've saved people. These animals have saved, hands down, without a doubt, saved more people than they've ever killed, you know? It is what it is, man.
I agree. I agree with you.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I definitely do too. That's how I feel about my tarantulas. And one of the reasons that I got into tarantulas was because I was, I had gone through really terrible things in life that really affected me and will affect me for the rest of my life. And I deal with bipolar disorder as well. And living with that every day is a challenge itself. And these animals having something to care for, something to stand up for, something to advocate and believe in has given me all purpose. And, you know, what I can say, Anthony, is it doesn't matter if you've done time. It doesn't make you a bad person. Ultimately, what you do after that time served and the person you become is what really matters. And, you know, you could have bad shit happen to you. Or you can become a monster, or you can become somebody that's good and helps other people. And that's the difference. And, you know, I've gotten in trouble too. You know, I'm on unsupervised probation as we speak for a DUI. And I also have gotten into all sorts of shit myself. But that took a lot for you to say. So I just wanted to say I really appreciate you sharing that, because, you know, I feel the same over here. I wouldn't be nothing without my animals. I don't know who I would be, what I would be doing. They have given me purpose. And that's why, despite people saying they're disgusting and I shouldn't keep them or I shouldn't advocate for them, they're my life, they're my passion. And just teaching these kids, things like insects, bugs, having these hobbies that they can get into early on in life before they even get into those things where they're exposed to drugs. They'll want to pick the animals over the drugs because, I mean, look how much money these animals cost, the time that it takes to take care of them. And I just know that, with kids that have passions about stuff greater than them, it's really important. And for you to go through all of that and still be here and wanting to help people is just amazing.
It's ultimately that made put it's hard to talk about, to even say that I regret, because I do. I some days I hate myself and can't understand why I did the things I did. But when I see the bigger picture, I've become that kid. I've become the answer to that kid I used to be, right? When I used to look at people and say, how do you know? You've never done it. I could look at any kid now and tell you, listen, I could flat out tell you I've done anything you ever dreamed of doing, right? Like literally. And I'm telling you where it's going to end, and it has. I have a passion for it, for keeping these kids off the street, man. Man, they're our future. And I think we should all love and respect children, and to a degree, but we need cultivate them. We need to, protect them.
Yes.
And that really is, as much as the animals, where my passion is. And that's why I'm always such an advocate on getting reptiles into kids' hands, because it's less of a chance you could wind up doing some idiot shit that there's no return from. Because you got to be honest, we all know that it only takes one bad day to be your last, right? Like, just got to have
fuck
one
up your
bad
whole
day,
life.
last one. And if we could put something else in these kids' path, then we're ultimately saving the world, man. Like, you're saving the world by making one better person, right? Like, it's just, hopefully, it is what it is, man. Again, there's only so much I could say. The kids are our future, you know what I'm saying? And I can't say that reptiles could have saved me, because I had them as a kid. I grew up with reptiles, I did, and I should have paid more attention. I should have done a lot of things I didn't do, but maybe some other kid is different, even if it's just one. It's sometimes, a lot of times, my wife works with like underprivileged inner city youth, and a lot of these kids have never seen reptiles before, right? Like, they've never seen them. It's just something they've never seen, and these kids are already in trouble. I mean, they're 10 years old, like 10, 11 years old children. And the excitement that you see in their eyes when they see something like this, you could just tell that it's life changing. Like, you opened up a whole new world for some of these kids, and I believe interactions and experiences like that can absolutely derail any negative, direction those kids were going in. I mean, you could literally take one of these kids and boom, put their focus over here, instead of, unfortunately, what some people they may idolize are doing, out on the street, driving big boy cars, pockets full of cash, gold chains. I mean, a lot of kids see these things, and that's who they want to be. That's who they want to idolize. That's what I did. I saw people driving, Cadillacs and pockets full of fucking cash and alligator shoes on and all types of shit. And I'm like, fuck, this dude, man, what am I doing wrong? And you wind up exploring avenues you should have never been on. And it's just, if you could, my point is if you could redirect a child's attention, you could, in theory, ultimately save these kids, man. Give them something better. And that's where the reptarium thing, I don't want to get into it before, but that's what I really wanted with those, when I say I want to build a Brian Barczyk reptarium, is to take like a boys and girls club setting and have it in an area where it's just animals all day. You come here, you work, you change cages, you change water dishes, and you're learning about animals instead of being on the street, being a little punks, tagging up every street corner, spray painting, doing all types of idiot shit, breaking into cars. Come on here and learn something. It's keeping them off the streets, putting knowledge in their heads, and again, ultimately making a better world for us to all live in. That's what my real plan is. I just didn't want to elaborate as to why and what before,
And now we're here.
But
I'm gonna answer Jennifer's question. The reason I became a cop is because my daughter, when she was 2 years old, or Yeah, 2.5 years old. He said that my my girlfriend at the time, my ex-girlfriend, she was dating another dude. Well, her stepdad or the grandfather, or I don't know what he was to the dude, molested my daughter. So I became a cop because I was trying to go find him in jail. And when I became a cop, it just taught me discipline. It changed my whole, perspective on things like that. So that's the whole reason I became a cop.
But you're definitely a better man than me, because I tell you what, every bit of criminal in me would have came right back.
Yeah, I couldn't find him. That's the whole reason. Yeah, they transferred him. By the time I came in, they had transferred him somewhere else. So yeah, it
Well, I
sucked.
promise you that he
It's
he
awful.
ain't living a good life no matter where he is. I mean, the sad truth is people have this whole thing in their heads like, oh, these child molesters and sex offenders go to jail and they get theirs. Brother, they don't. You can't get near them. You cannot touch them. Once they hit a fucking compound, they are in PC protective custody so fast. If you have it on your mitt, the second you hit a jail, SIS is going to look at what you're in jail for.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in jail for any sexual crime, you're never coming to GP. You're never going to hit a yard. You're never going to come out there where anyone, you're not, because
they'll kill you.
What you see on TV is real.
Yeah.
I could never hold my face or my chin up on a compound if anyone ever knew that there was a sex offender next to me and I let homeboy slide. I could never show my face again.
Yep.
If anyone ever knew there was a sex offender that was ever next to me and I didn't take care of that. And then it sounds criminal, and I get it sounds maniac to a lot of people, but as
That's
a man,
how it is.
you have that obligation, you have that code as a man. If you've ever victimized a child or a woman, because we can't share breathing area. One of us got to be. One of us got to go. We cannot share this area.
And I'll tell you what, like, he ain't lying, because they even used to come up to us as officers. They'd be like, "Hey, boss, this guy is, child militia. Can we handle him?" And then they would pull him in, like, pull him in, handle him, And they legit would ask.
Another wild thing I'll never understand, man. I don't. I didn't really want to get into it because it does this to me. I can't speak. For a grown ass man to look at a child or a woman and think that that's fair game, come holler at me. Anyone out there watching this, any fucking body, if you think a woman or a child is fair game, come see me. I'm your fair. It's not, yo, not cool, man. You ain't shit. And it ain't
even at the club. Even at the club, yeah.
If you bring it to
they drag the girls out, man, that gets me mad, bro. I'll be like, "Hey, let her go. I don't care if she's your girl, bro. Don't be dragging girls out in front of me."
Man, please don't do it.
Yeah.
You, for your safety, don't do it in front of me, man.
But I'm gonna ask you,
people are shit. My wife is an 8-year military veteran. There is no one in this fucking world that I argue with more in my life. Putting my hands on my wife, that's just not even a thought that ever comes into. I mean, that's just a non-existent thing. It's just not ever.
Not how you solve problems.
I've solved quite a few problems with my hands before, but I don't recommend it. I don't suggest it, and damn sure not with a woman.
I agree with that.
It's just not a man's place. It's not natural.
No,
It's not natural.
Love works. Not aggression. Not aggression, but love. Don't be mean to me.
Communication, all that stuff. You don't need to put your hands on them. No, that's the last thing you want to do.
And
nor should women. Nor should women be putting hands on their men, though.
Yeah.
Well, that's true too, because a woman used to hit me like she thought she was a man, and I couldn't take it anymore, and I just threw my hand back, like, "Hey, stop!" And I slapped her.
Yeah, you just gotta get rid of those. You'll end up in jail.
I actually called the cops on myself.
I got a buddy, Ray, got 5 years for that shit. He wound up going out to a club one night, knocking up some thing that he met in a bar, tried to do the right thing, made her his girl, wound up proposing to her, moved her and her grandmother into his house. He don't drink at all. She was drinking one day, yelling about something. He's sitting at a table with his hands on the table, sitting in a chair. The grandmother standing behind him, yelling all types of shit. His girl starts hitting him. Ray stands up and throws his hands up in the air, the chair hits the old lady, knocks the old lady down. She falls and gets hurt or something. He got 5 years in jail for that shit, man.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'll share a story with you guys. I'll tell you one little thing about me. When I was in college, I lived with six other girls, and as you guys can imagine, that was a lot of drama, and it was really just too much for me. And these girls teamed up with each other, the five of them, and or the four of them, and started bullying like the girl that lived like across the hall from me. And I'm not about bullying at all. And so, like they would say awful things when she would like leave, like, oh, she's going out to her next dick appointment, shit like that, when she's just literally going to hang out with some friend, and I'm just like, coming out of your mouth, what the hell? But anyways, freaking, one day this girl's literally, I'm like literally minding my own business, cleaning my bathroom, and she's just out on the phone talking shit about me to her family, and I'm like, where I'm from, you talk shit to my face, okay? Don't talk shit about me behind my back. And I literally I started screaming at this girl. I was like, that's messed up. What you guys are doing to this girl is messed up because she's telling me she don't want to live no more. She don't even want to be here at this campus anymore. And the freaked up thing is like I told my RAs and I let them know like this crap was happening. And one thing escalated and I was standing in her room and she got in my face and she was like, hit me, hit me, hit me. I'll call the cops. And like I thought she was coming to swing at me, so I just like reached out like this and like kind of just like shoved her away from me, but I like hit her throat. And then I literally like got kicked out of college for that crap. Like literally. And I told the RAs and the freaking lady of the school, she's like, I can't believe this. And my mom literally was like, we can't believe this. I've told you guys about this, told them that it was affecting all of us. And yeah, but I got kicked out of college for that crap.
Yeah, it
Because
sucks.
I,
This again, what the thing me and Jay do is for all of this, right? Like we don't like seeing people bullied, picked on, or not acknowledged, man. And that's half the reason that we set out on this. Is this again, not to talk about myself by any means, but I done been there and done it all. And I promise you, happiness and kindness is the way. The whole mean, angry, violent shit is not the wave, man. It's
yeah,
not the
no.
wave. Being polite and humble and open and accepting to people, education stems from that, friendship stem from that, lots of positive things stem from being just a positive being, a positive platform, listening to someone, hear someone out. Don't just shut people off, even especially with the reptile world. If someone's saying something that maybe you have never heard before or you feel you don't agree with, let the person just hear them out, man. Let them talk.
Yeah, be open-minded.
Exactly. Be
Be
open-minded. Try to
subjected to change.
stop being mean, because I promise you, there's someone meaner, man. And it's not. It's like it's a never-ending cycle. Like there's no reason to be mean. We are civilized human beings, right? Like the one
Yeah.
thing that separates us, and I say this all the time too, is what separates us from our primate cousins is not our opposable thumbs, right? It's our ability to communicate. So much shit could be resolved by just talking and having a conversation and not just being savages, right? Like we're not cavemen anymore. Like talk to people, listen to people. Like
Yeah.
there's a chance that you might be wrong. You think Albert Einstein wasn't learning until the day he died? You think that Tesla wasn't learning until the day he died? The most brilliant minds on this planet were learning and receptive to learning until the day they died. Like the smartest of smart continue to learn. Half the reason they're so intelligent is their ability to accept learning new things. Like we just as a community and a hobby in general and human beings in general have to stop being so simple-minded and understand, listen, learn, observe, and it just makes for a better reptile hobby. It makes for a better planet. It makes for better humans. It makes for a better everything.
Facebook is atrocious.
It's unfortunate.
She ain't even lying.
Yeah. That's why I stay off at that like that. Oh, man.
Unfortunate.
That's like that one platform I don't even try because I just don't even want to go there. like I'm totally open to like people messaging me and be like, hey, I need your help, and I'll sit there and I'll talk to them. But like kind of platforms like just invite that
I'll
kind
be
of
right back.
drama. It's
I was gonna
crazy.
say, I was gonna ask you two wrap up questions so we can get on and I'll get on out of here because it's
Yeah.
already been 2 hours.
Bro,
But
Oh yeah.
2 o'clock. Oh damn, up there, shit.
yeah, but I didn't expect it to go like this long. But I was moving around too, and I wanted to chat with you guys because I was doing a lot.
Yeah, that's okay.
I was
Appreciate
trying to
the
find a
opportunity.
spot, you know. But then we got into talking, and it just felt like we opened up a lot more.
Yeah,
Um,
you ain't lying.
uh, but yeah, I thought, I mean, everybody was vibing, so I liked it. I enjoyed it. I don't know about you guys, but I did. My
That
first
was
question is
good.
like, what y'all think of the podcast so far? That's for you too, Jennifer, since you're my co-host.
I think it was great.
Yeah.
I think that this is the point of a podcast and good conversation. And to sum up everything we just talked about, right? We use our ability to communicate to have a good, a good conversation about relevant things, right? Like, I mean, yeah, I kind of went right field or whatever, but it's who I am, it's what we do, and that alone, this podcast just forged relationships, right? Like it's community building. It was great. It was a great opportunity, a great experience. Um, we kind of got a better, understanding of who everybody is by just being able to see faces and have conversations. And I think that's, one of the beauties of technology, right? Is we have the ability to do this now, and it's a huge asset. It's a great opportunity. Privilege being here.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, I think it's a really good podcast too. It is a little bit today was just like a little all over per se, but I did like to see Anthony and Jason's perspectives, like especially when it comes to all of those New Caledonia species and the geckos. Like I even learned something from you guys today that I'm going to take and you know working into my own thing over here, with like my crested geckos, they're going to get more crickets than crested gecko diet. And it was fun to be able to share it with you guys, what I do with the tarantulas and stuff, and be able to educate you guys and shed light on that as well.
Oh yeah.
So very cool. And yeah, I do think it's important for people to see a lot of the creators connecting, whether it's on the internet or face to face, because we are a community and we are only as strong as our players.
Facts.
Yeah.
Man, that was well said, Jen. That was
Thank you. Thank you.
okay. The question
Yeah.
was, what did you think of the
I
podcast
heard
so
it.
far?
Yeah, no,
Oh,
no.
okay,
I
okay.
mean, yeah. So I had to go run use the restroom because I was holding for like 2 hours. I was like, shit, I gotta
I know,
go.
bro. You could have gone anytime. You just get up and go.
I know. Well, because I'm outside, so I didn't want no one trying to steal my laptop while I'm gone real quick. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We got you.
but no, dude, this was like a dope ass podcast. Like, because it wasn't just like like our podcast. No, we're asking questions. We're trying to get information, right? So this one was just more like you said. It was just a conversation. We're learning about each other. We're learning different things. Like, damn, Flex, I didn't even know you were a cop, G. Like, I was like, okay, like, big swole. I thought you were like, you know what? I'm trying to get my IBFF type shit going on, or something like that. But no, and then no, everybody's sharing some of those personal experiences, and we're learning. Like that's what the hobby needs. We need more, like you said, more communication with each other. Just talk it out. If we have differences, that's fine, but talk it out. Agree to disagree, but be cordial about it. Not and not just bash a person just because they don't keep it the way I told them to keep it, or I think they're doing it the wrong way. Not everybody keeps it the same way. Not everybody's gonna do it the same way because we live in all different places. Well, like I said, this was a dope podcast. Like I know in the background, you're like, oh, it's gonna be like an hour. I was like, nah, this ain't gonna be no hour. I know Ant, this ain't gonna be no hour. I already
I
know
know
that.
what because I vibe with ad. Like I know where ad's
Yeah,
coming
no,
from.
well, so I know Ant because, like I said, we do this podcast, and I know this my man's and them can talk. Like that's why he's on here with me, because for me, I was like, all right, I'm a structured person when it comes to the podcast. Like I have to write everything down because otherwise I'll forget every fucking thing. Yeah, see, So, but that's why Ant's like my wild card right there. That's my G right there. Like that's, if I need something, like I need him, like go ahead and talk, dude, and he'll start going. Like he might not even know anything about the species we talk about, but he'll start talking, and then he'll find something to relate to it, and the next you know, we're having a nice little conversation. So, but definitely do. I appreciate you at just having us on here, man. Like this was a dope ass podcast. It was a dope ass episode.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you.
I appreciate you, man. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate y'all being here. But yeah,
Yeah, we
man,
appreciate you.
I just thank you, Jen. And yeah, I've just been through a lot. Like like Ant, I've been there, done that. But I did 8 years of boxing, Muay Thai. So I'm a I'm a lethal weapon. So I tell these guys, like, hey man, like I'm gonna hurt you, you know. But they still want it. So like this one dude
I mean,
in the bar the other night, he was like, "I'll take out 3 of you." Okay, that didn't work
That
out.
was
But
the
we
booze
busted his head.
talking.
Yeah,
Proud.
he busted his head.
Yeah, you think you're Superman when you liquored up. That was
yeah, you
me.
got
I
that
used to fight
incredible Hulk
cops.
juice.
That's
Yeah,
I used to fight cops when I would get drunk. That's why I'm a sober person now
Man,
for
lying.
3 years.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, so like our buddy Matt, he just hit his 1 year sobriety like not too long ago. So
that's why you said that right
yeah,
here.
yeah,
Yep.
because like, and that's why he does his podcast now. Like, he preaches that sobriety, and and I always tell him keep on preaching it, dude. Like, if it makes you happy, it makes you clear minded. Like, keep doing it. Like, if it like just keep on going. Like right now, I haven't. Well, I'm trying to stop smoking, so that's what I've been working on. And like for this past month, I've been feeling,
Good
pretty
job, man.
good. So,
Me too.
I've been feeling much clearer, much more conscious about everything I'm doing. And we'll just take it one day at a time. That's what they always say, right? One day at a time, one day at a time. Just keep going like that. So,
Did y'all
Fact.
see this?
yeah. Matt's our guy. That's our guy. That's our other guy in our group chat that we always talk with.
But so my last question is, and then we'll get out of here with a positive message from each of you. So my last question for all 3 of you is: if you could change one thing in the hobby, what would it be and why?
I go
For me,
first. Mine's simple, man.
yeah, go
I
ahead.
tell people flat out, man. Nature is our proxy. Stop worrying about what Joe Schmo does, the man next to you, the keeper on IG from across the country, or better yet, across the globe. If you have an animal and a species, look to nature for the answers. These animals have evolved over millions of years to live in a specific environment. No matter how long they've been in your care, in captivity, or in an enclosure, you can't change natural instinct, right? So
Yeah.
whatever Joe Schmo is doing is his way of creating that natural environment in his little microclimate. I wish everyone would do the same. Look to nature for your answers and not what another keeper does. You can ask other people, ask what they're doing and what works and listen, but ultimately nature is our proxy. These animals evolved to live in a very unique environment. That unique environment almost always has the answer to your issues. That's that.
Yeah. No, I mean, I'll second that too. But and then my other thing is pick up a fucking book. Read. Like it's
Yeah.
like no, we were talking to Phil Trumper like was it last week or the week before? No, the week before.
Truly, yeah.
Yeah, and he was like, no, people don't read. No, they just want to go straight to the internet for stuff or
Mhm.
ask people. Pick up a just pick up a book. No, help educate yourself on a lot of this stuff. But you can, like I said, Ant said, nature is that proxy. No, look at an app, look at iNaturalist, see where people are, like taking pictures of these animals, where are they at? Look on your weather app, all that stuff. Like all that stuff is good information to help educate you on how to take care of your animals properly. So that's my thing right there.
Good.
Yeah. Yeah, and I would have to say, For me, it would be quality over quantity, and that just goes for all animals, and especially with tarantulas, because it is like it's almost like a flex for some people to have like a whole collection of 200, and I do understand that, but also it's just like it kind of gives people the wrong frame of mind, especially when they're first getting into it. Like, oh, I can just get all these tarantulas and it's going to be fine, but they're going to need upgrades, they're going to need different things. There's just so much more to it than just having a huge collection. Making sure you're spending each time like to inspect everybody, making sure they're doing okay, and to be able to pay attention to them and give them the greatest quality of life that you can possibly give them. And especially because unfortunately, due to like TV and stuff, there's a lot of people that don't keep exotic pets that have this mindset that we just keep our bearded dragons or our reptiles in dresser drawers and hordes of them. And so that's also why I started my YouTube channel to promote how we are keeping them in our homes. And it's not like, the craziest questions I've ever been asked is like, are they roaming around your house? And I'm like, no. I mean, seriously, like I have other dogs, I have animals, and there's, I have heat vents that they could get hurt on. It's just like, but yeah, definitely quality over quantity, and just making sure each and every one of your animals gets the best care.
All right, guys. And now, a good answer, Jim. And before we get on out of here, positive message and plug yourselves where they can find you guys.
Go ahead, Ed.
My positive message, I guess, is plain and simple, man. Everybody matters, man. Everybody matters. Your opinions, your observations, your opinions are not the only ones that matter. When you're part of a community, you have to understand the fact that what everyone in that community does matters. So that's my piece of advice or positive, whatever. You could find us on Jay will give you a better spiel, but YouTube, IG, all the platforms. My personal reptile page, I guess, is Cold Blooded Gems on IG. Yeah, Jason will give you a better rundown all the other platforms you can find us on, but we're everywhere.
Yeah. Jennifer, you want to go?
Yeah, my message would be that if you guys want to get into the social media, want to create a YouTube channel to promote positivity or to share knowledge of animals that you're keeping, to educate others, don't be afraid to, and always be open-minded, for sure. Don't be afraid to speak your opinion, but always be, cool. Sorry. But yeah. Oh, and one more thing. You guys can find me at Jen's Peculiar Exotics. There's no underscores in there. It's just straight Jen's Peculiar Exotics. That's for Patreon, Instagram, YouTube, and then for Facebook, I'm at Jennifer Leanne.
Right. Positive. So, all right. So I always tell people, information is priceless. You might have like that $1,500, $2,000 gecko, but guess what? That information is going to keep that gecko alive. So information is always priceless to me. As far as so you can find us Gecko Exchange Podcast on IG, YouTube. If you're if you know what Buy Me a Coffee is, so kind of like Patreon, we're under there as well, and as well as what else? And then you can find me Ghouls and Geckos, IG, Facebook too. I don't really use it, or you can look me up, Jason Morrow. I'm on Facebook. And then also tomorrow we got our next episode coming out. It's going to be early. It's going to be at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We're going to be talking to Roy Arthur Blodgett of Project Herpeticulture. So if you guys want to hop on, talk about it. We're going to be talking about some what we talk about, Polycris mamaratus, aka the monkey bush anole. So should be a fun one. So cool. Hopefully we'll see y'all there.
All right.
Heck yeah.
And I want to thank you guys for all helping on, taking the time out of your day, especially for 2 hours. Appreciate you guys, you and you, Jason and Jennifer. Thank you
No
for
problem,
co-hosting with me tonight.
Appreciate
Yeah,
you
of
letting us come
course.
on.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, man.
No problem.
Appreciate it.
Now let's get on out of here, guys. Y'all have a great night. Check on your loved one. Lift
Peace.
people up.
out.
Never put people down. You know, stay positive, motivate each other, and we out of here, guys. Y'all have a great night.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Later.
Peace.